and running it into the ground. But in theory, these should be a thing of the past with the new regulator. They'll be able to use data from the National Crime Agency to perform stronger fit and proper persons tests, and can even force owners to give up their stake in a club, which for certain supporters might be a welcome relief. It's likely good news for the EFL. The tension between them and the Premier League over a fair financial deal has been increasing in recent years. As it stands, talks have broken down. The Premier League backed out of recent negotiations, but the regulator will have the power to force through a deal, meaning more money for clubs lower down the pyramid. Now, this might sound simple, but in reality there's concerns this will open a legal can of worms, which could result in messy court cases involving the Premier League and the regulator. Parachute payments will be brought under the control of the regulator too. If they reduce them, it could mean a wider variety of clubs securing promotion to the top flight, but critics reckon it'll just mean the gap between the Premier League and EFL actually widens, as promoted clubs won't get as much money, which should normally be used to buy better players so they can compete. And current Premier League clubs have said if there were no parachute payments, they'd actually invest less, which would harm the quality of the top flight. And if clubs don't invest, then you'll get exactly what the EFL don't want, which is the same three clubs going down every year. And remember when Cardiff's owners changed the club's colours and badge? Well, in future, fans will have to approve any major changes to their club's heritage. Now that might all sound great, but do we really need it? Some say the downfall of Reading and Bury is an exception, not the rule. So as a whole, the most successful footballing pyramid in world football doesn't need regulation. They say it scares investors who can help grow the game. If those investors go elsewhere, well, the Premier League may no longer be the destination for the best players in the world. And others, well, they just don't trust politicians to appoint truly independent people to regulate our game.
You are listening to Hawksby and Jacobs. Max Rushden in the hard chair today between now and 4. Alongside me, the national treasure, he's still got it, Andy Jacobs. What's coming up today, Andy?
He never really had it, really, let's be honest. But, well, Max, what an absolute pleasure. You wrote that.
I did, yeah.
What an absolute pleasure to be sitting next to you. Oh, yes. This afternoon we'll be at Old Trafford as England take control of the fourth test against India. Well, at least we hope they do. Former England midfielder Jordan Nobbs will look ahead to Euros final and the Euros final, and we'll be across the latest Stratford.
We'll cross to Melbourne, just so I don't feel too homesick, and to check in on preparations for the second Lions test on Saturday. We'll also hear about the sudden huge demand in flights, tickets, etc. to the Euros final, and Lucy Ward will tell us about her prep to commentate on the Lionesses.
It's a bit odd, the MCG for rugby. I was looking at it this morning, isn't it? Because it's sort of like for American football or cricket, not American, well, Aussie rules football rather, so it looks a bit odd. But
this is the intro, Anne. This is the pithy intro. Get to it.
Plus all the Friday classics, a world-class vignettes section, and Todd Macklin with news of the States and a Bob Butker Clips special.
So all that between now and 4. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Max, and welcome.
Thanks so much.
Yes, now, you did say to me earlier in the week that could I do the warm-up? So I thought, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Barry might be away, but then it turned out he wasn't.
Barry's not away.
No,
but he was away.
I had this idea that he'd gone to Australia and you'd still be doing the show, like not in the same continent.
Well, the key for me, just in case management are listening, I presume management are listening. I've seen they're in the office. I never know what they do when I'm obviously in Australia. The key for me is the shows that I do in the studio are not as good as the ones when I'm in Australia. Because some people said when I moved to Australia, they say, look, the trouble is you've got to be in the room. So for me, it's important that they come off air today at 4 p.m. and they think it's much better that they're not in the room. So what I want is, because we have a good on-air chemistry, Andy, I've always thought that, but if it starts getting too good, this show, I'm just going to derail it a little bit.
Well, you can always go upstairs and do the show from upstairs.
That's a good point.
But I've been impressed, actually. I think you've improved since we last worked with us.
Very kind.
You brought your own scissors.
I did bring scissors for the vignettes. Although I did upset Andy today a little bit because we were trying to find a wrestling guest for Hulk Hogan. And producer Sean, he learned how to produce from the Saturday warm-up. So we gave him a great grounding. So I thought he'd be you couldn't pull the wool over his eyes. But I said to him in the WhatsApp group, I said, look, I'm friends with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I could get Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And he was like, really? He said, are you friends with him? And I said, well, really, acquaintances through the Repo Man. But the Repo Man classically doesn't do interviews anymore. And then he said, well, if you can get Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that would be great. Then I said, I'll ask the Bushwhackers. And then I waited about 15 minutes and I said, Rowdy Roddy Piper can do it. What time? And he went, brilliant, 3 p.m, no 2. And then I said, he sends his apologies, but he died in 2015.
I know.
When his media work, he stopped doing a lot of his media work.
I happen to have met both of them, actually. I produced a video for Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Did you?
On children's self-defense.
What?
I know, it was a very
produced the video for Rowdy Roddy Piper.
And I sent a clip in from it to You've Been Framed, because at the end, Roddy turned up with this sort of, do you remember those sort of punch bags? They had a heavy wooden base, and you'd inflate it, and then you could hit this thing.
Yes.
And then, so he said, all the kids were in the ring, and he said, throw the thing into the ring. So I threw it into the ring. And this one kid actually works with my son still now. He jumps up to sort of like head it, but he doesn't realise he's got a heavy wooden base. So he just heads this thing, and it's like, like you can see stars. Yes. It was that. So it was worth 250 quid.
Well done. You knocked out a child. When have you knocked out a child for money?
For 250 quid.
81089. Text us now.
I've got a cool subject, though.
Oh, good.
Somebody called Harry Charles is to marry Eve Jobs, daughter of the late Steve Jobs.
Oh, okay. Many
That's fantastically egotistical, isn't it? It's like if I had a daughter called Randy. It's really
Steve and Eve.
Mandy.
Yeah,
Andy and Mandy
good.
Jacobs.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
So, yes, it's not really.
My son is called Axe. It's good.
It's quite egotistical to do that, though, isn't it? Really.
What's the call subject?
No, it isn't. I changed my mind.
Oh, right.
There won't be enough. There's not enough in it. I don't think really at this stage. And what else have we got here? I'm just looking at my extensive list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can the papers please stop writing about what Brooklyn Beckham and his wife are doing?
Oh, what are they doing? I'm interested.
I don't care. They're on holiday. Yeah. I don't care what they're eating. I don't care that if he's dived into the pool. I'm not interested. I don't know why. It's not like he's famous for anything. It's different if you write about David Beckham. He obviously has achieved a lot in his life in terms of football.
I want to know what he's wearing.
And what pool he's diving into, yes, exactly. And what he's having for his lunch.
Yeah.
But his son really... he's had a succession of sort of failed careers, hasn't he? Sort of nothing overly successful.
Yes, but hard to beat the offspring of a Beckham, I think.
No,
you probably have some privilege.
I don't get it. Does anybody care? I don't know. Maybe
do you care what Anthony Joshua's wearing?
Not especially.
He's wearing a pair of sunglasses. I've got it in the Daily Star.
He's got new sunglasses,
he has,
hasn't he?
As he lounges in the blazing Greek sunshine.
Yes.
The former heavyweight boxing champion, 35, checks
He's
himself.
looking quite heavyweight, I noticed that.
Has he put on a bit of timber? Do you reckon you could take him now because he'd be slower around the ring?
Couldn't.
He checked himself out in a pocket mirror on the Mykonos beach. Do you want to know what else he was buying?
No.
A cigar from a vendor.
Yes, that's not good to be smoking, is it? That doesn't say a lot, really.
His career's over now. Let him live a little. He's sacrificed so much. If he wants a cigar, he can have one, I think. But I'd say I'm as interested in whichever the Beckhams it was as Anthony Joshua. But I thought you'd like. This is my first vignette. Obviously, I like the bit section of talk of you. This
you used
show.
to bring in Closer magazine and ask me sort of like quizzes.
Until one afternoon, Andy came in at midday and he said, "No more surveys."
But it got a bit much, really. They were so far away from sport that even for this show, it was like too much, really. But what can you do?
What have you got, Andy?
What have I got? I've got an amazingly sexist letter about women's football.
Okay, good.
It's incredible. A bloke wrote to the Star, he said, "I think the fact that Chloe Kelly only managed to score off the rebound rather shows that Joey Barton was right." And that's amazing, isn't it? Of course, missing a penalty and it going off the keeper and it being put in, that's never happened in men's football. No, never, mate. Well done. It's brilliant, isn't it? Honestly, some of these people are fantastic.
Yeah, I do like the letters section to the Daily Star, and it doesn't get sent over to Australia.
Oh, that's
so
a pity.
It's nice to have you read some of those letters. Do you want a job, Andy?
Yes.
Are you looking for more work? The royal family.
I would be after this show.
They can't be in the room together. It just didn't work. The royal family are advertising for a live-in gardener on $32,000 a year. King Charles and Queen Camilla want someone to maintain 39 acres of Buckingham Palace's
It's a bit
garden.
stingy. I mean,
the
these
highest
days, that's not
standard.
a massive salary. I mean, all right, it's not bad, but it's not, considering you're working for the king.
Do you think, how much should the man on a sit-on mower in Buckingham Palace be getting? 100k?
75.
You think 75? 175? 175.
Between 75 and 100. I think 39 seems a bit stingy.
32k, isn't it? But maybe with bonuses. You were adding on the bonuses you'd get.
But didn't he lose a few?
Nosy,
He lost a few gardeners because they weren't happy about the
I see.
conditions.
It's very careless, doesn't it? You've lost another gardener. Here we go. Matt says, "Is it my birthday? First Danny Kelly and now Max, my favourite two presenters."
That's good, isn't
to
it?
which Clive says, "Switched off the minute I knew Rushden was on air. Rubbish."
Why?
So it's yin and yang.
I don't know why do people do that. I don't understand. I bet he hasn't really switched off. Do you think he has?
Well,
I mean, if he did switch off, why did he go to the trouble of telling you he'd switch? Why couldn't he just switch off?
The only way we're knowing is Clive Warren 19. Are you still listening? Do let us know. We'll dedicate the whole show to you.
He's now going really red and going. He's thinking, "Oh no, I am still listening. I better turn it off."
We've actually got a camera on Clive Warren 19. We've got a camera on all the Clive Warrens just in case one of them would be so furious that I happen to take the temerity to sit here.
Do you remember the TV show The Bill?
Of course, I remember The Bill.
Okay,
I almost got a part in The Bill.
did you?
Yeah. Well, I think we did I went, as you remember, when I hosted the BBC London Breakfast Show, which actually was loved by Clive Warren's 1 to 18.
Yes.
We did a show from The Bill.
Oh, really?
And then they gave me an audition for a part. But at that moment, it was established that I wasn't an actor. And so they didn't give me the part, which was better than my audition for Neighbours, which is I said I'd like,
You were in it though, weren't you?
Well, I was.
Weren't you
I was,
in one of the?
I was on top of a double-decker bus when Carl dropped the ring. He was proposing to Susan again, and he dropped the ring off the back, and I'm wearing a green and white hooped jumper, and I turned my head. And honestly, the subtlety is absolutely tremendous. But no, when I moved over,
why is that a Celtic fan on the top of that Australian bus?
When I moved over, I said I want to be a Neighbours, and they got me an audition on the Friday. And they cancelled the whole show on the Thursday. They looked at what was happening.
I was jealous. I'd love to be in it, but it's too late now. They've stopped filming.
Is it too? No, no. Have they absolutely completely stopped?
No, they've stopped filming last week. Yeah, Alan's over here now touring, and we're hoping to get him in in a couple of weeks' time when I'm back on with you. And because we both always vied for his attention. Yeah, I felt as much as I loved him, I felt he was.
Well, I did emigrate.
You.
I did emigrate for him. You haven't shown enough commitment to Carl Kennedy by not emigrating.
Anyway,
yes.
Reg Hollis.
Reg Hollis.
Reg
I remember
Hollis?
PC Reg Hollis, yeah.
Basically, he helped the police catch a thief the other day. Did you see that? Tremendous work by Reg.
What did he do?
Well, he wasn't called Reg anymore.
Was he in his outfit?
Jeff Stewart.
Do you think he just always dressed as a policeman?
He's got those
there he was. But he's got like 1980s police attire on, like an old school baton.
No, I think he was wearing his normal gear.
Yeah.
But he didn't hesitate to leap into action.
And did he have a cassette player to play the theme to the bill? Bow, 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 bow,
Yes,
bow,
as he
bow,
nicked the
bow,
bloke.
bow.
That was it, really. Yeah.
This is good, isn't it? We're having a good time. Is that enough? The thing is, you can't see in this building we're in.
I know.
You can't see anybody.
It's a brilliant design, honestly. The person who designed this studio, absolutely incredible. You cannot see the gallery.
It's like
they could be giving you visa. They could be doing anything.
No,
and
what
you've
it
got
is
absolutely no idea.
What it is I'm an FBI officer and you're the criminal. And this is a one-way mirror.
Oh, yeah.
And they're seeing if you crack. And they see, tell us the truth, Annie. By the same, I ordered the code red. I'll get him by 4. Anyway, you are listening to Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs on the great Hawksbee and Jacobs. And we'll cross to Old Trafford next. Good afternoon, you're listening to Rushden and Jacobs. I don't think I should have my name on the door for just turning up for one afternoon. Hawksby Jacobs, Max Rushden here.
Featuring.
In for Paul Hawksby.
Yes, good radio term.
Thanks so much. In partnership with Toolstation, delivery in as little as 30 minutes with Fast Track. Do they do bike pumps? Because I've just got my bike out of my flat and the tyres are flat because no one's pumped them up for a year. But I've had to lock it up outside. And I'd quite like, if somebody could deliver a bike pump to this, it seems self-indulgent. And the Toolstation can't, could somebody just drop one off at the front desk? It'd be really useful.
Well, while we're at it,
yes.
I ordered these special mushrooms.
Oh, did you?
No, not that type of mushroom.
God.
It's an edible mushroom.
Oh, right, why not?
And it
take this show to a new level. Andy on mushrooms, wow.
You know, they said I got an email saying yesterday, we're delighted to have delivered your mushrooms. And they showed me a picture of it, but of course it wasn't my porch or anything, so they delivered
Where are they?
I don't know, they've gone somewhere else.
Okay,
so if you've got my mushrooms, can I have them back?
You got Andy's.
They're called something like, no, what are they called?
What are they called?
Wolf mushrooms.
Button mushrooms?
No, they're not button
mushrooms. Sliced mushrooms?
No, they look like they're hairy. They're sort of, I'll look them
hairy
up.
mushrooms.
Hairy
You're not really selling it.
Wasn't he on Radio 1, the hairy mushroom?
Can't wait for dinner. Anyway, what's happening in the fourth test? England 332 for 2, trailed by 26. Joe Root and Ollie Pope making India struggle a little bit. Let's talk to George Dobell, chief cricket writer at The Cricketer. Hey, George, you okay?
Yeah, really good. Afternoon.
Good afternoon, George.
Yes.
It's England are in a very strong position now, aren't they? India had to take wickets first thing, and they didn't.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it feels like we've reached a tipping point in the series. It feels like England are really strong at this stage and that India are in a bit of disarray, really. It feels like India were broken yesterday and they're in real trouble here. Look, they've still got a chance because batting last here I think is going to be difficult. The ball is scuttling along the pitch at times. But England have got an opportunity to bat once, really, and go well beyond India here and try and hold the match. So, yeah, a really, really strong. I have to say this would be a really big win for England.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interest in Joe Root and his record chase of Ponting and all that. He's looking good for it. I probably
he looks
boxed him
fantastic for it, doesn't he? Well, you know, the important thing with him, it was really noticeable that he barely celebrated when he went past the other batters. It was just a little wave to the crowd, barely even that, just a polite wave, you know. And I think the reason to be optimistic that he'll go past Ponting today is that he's a target. He has something to play for that isn't about the record. It's about putting the team in a really strong position. Because I think the wonderful thing about Joe Root is that he's not particularly motivated by these personal records. He's motivated by winning games for England. And the great thing is, what is he, 34? He's going to go on for years. Yet he's hungry. He loves it. He knows this is the best job he's ever going to have. And I think he's as hungry for batting as he ever has been. So, yeah, hopefully he's going to bat for a few more hours today, put England in a really strong position and go past Ponting.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Root being good is sort of not a surprise, and it's not new. But yesterday, seeing not just Jofra Archer, but Ben Stokes be so good for the ball, with the ball, just gives you so much hope, doesn't it, for the winter?
It does. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. Ben Duckett too on the quiet. I mean, he's just getting run so often and so quickly. You know, Australia's bowling attack is very good, but their batting looks vulnerable. England definitely are going to go to Australia this winter with a chance, and we've got to be careful not to, you know, excuse away success. India are strong, yeah. India are always strong, and they came here with really high confidence of winning a series here for the first time in quite a long time, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. England deserve a lot of credit for that. There are still some concerns, there are still some holes, but Archer coming back is massive, and Ben Stokes is bowling better than he has done for 10 years. I mean, I don't know who his surgeon was, but they've done a terrific job.
He's been doing well. Rayan Ahmed, he's sort of typical with the Stokes McCullum. He got a selection, but then they've kind of dropped him. But he's batting and he's bowling. I wonder if he'll come into, especially being a leg spinner in Australia, I wonder if he'll come into consideration.
Well, he could. I think it's really interesting that Leicestershire, his county, see him as a batter. And I think he scored 4 first-class hundreds this summer now. That's a lot of runs. And let's remember, he is, 21? England need to not worry about trying to be funky and clever and just picking young kids because it looks radical and brilliant. He's got years and years ahead of him. And again, he looks really hungry to work hard, to work at his game. He loves cricket. I don't know that there's any hurry, and I don't know that this winter is the time for him. But he's progressing absolutely brilliantly, and yeah, he's got a brilliant future. Say again, he's 21 or something, yeah? No hurry with him.
It's interesting you made that point about focusing on this game that is happening, and India are good and we should really just revel in the fact that England are doing really well in this test and this series. Do the players or the coaching staff, do any of them care how sort of Ashes obsessed a lot of fans are? That everything is just leading to this one thing, and it's not irrelevant what happens, but you want to have a nice time in the summer and have a few drinks and watch them at Old Trafford. But really, as soon as someone starts doing well, I start thinking, well, can they do it with that cricket ball at the MCG or whatever?
I think most people who are very involved would reluctantly accept that their reputations are going to be defined by what happens in the Ashes, for right or wrong. You see, it bothers me a bit that Joe Root's reputation as captain isn't as good as it should be, because he captained during COVID, and honestly, it was impossible. I was on those tours, those lockdown tours, and it was miserable. And genuinely, they didn't have a hope of success. They weren't prepared. There wasn't the opportunity to be prepared, and they only went to honour the broadcast deals, which is okay. It's not a terrible reason, but there should have been an understanding that when it all went wrong, they had actually been quite brave, quite phlegmatic about what happened, and the criticism was very, very harsh. And I love the fact that England side had a no complain policy, because no one is interested in hearing very well paid sports stars moan about the conditions they're living in. Okay, we all know that. No one wants to hear that. But actually it was rubbish. It was really, really rubbish. And it's not irrelevant, that we know what happened with Graham Thorpe. Those conditions are not irrelevant in that situation. It was really, really grim. And I think it's a bit harsh that sometimes people talk about Joe Root's captaincy has having ended so badly, because actually I thought he led in terribly difficult circumstances without ever complaining. And then Ben Stokes has taken over, and obviously there's been an upturn in fortunes, and he's never done anything other than serve his friend Ben Stokes loyally and trying to play as well as he can. He's never breathed a word of complaint, and I think that's a really interesting insight into the man that Joe Root is. He's not just a fantastic batter, he's a very, very good team player, and there's a lot to like there as a character and a batter.
Yeah, that's true. And Stokes, though, he continues to defy people like myself. He makes decisions that you just think, oh God, that's wrong, that's absolutely wrong, and then you say it and then he makes a complete fool of you. So you have to say he's got something, he's got that flair. He sees things other people don't see, and goes against conventional cricket wisdom, but it seems to work.
Sometimes it very often works. I mean, he is a fantastic cricketer. There's no way around that. Some people still say to me, his stats aren't that great. You've got to be so careful with judging things by stats. Yeah, the cliche that I always come up with, the average person has one testicle and one breast. You've got to be really careful with averages, don't you? So Ben Stokes is not an average cricketer, and he's not an average leader. And he has changed the whole expectation of English cricket. There have been times they've done things which seem as if they've maybe tried to be a bit clever. But I think he's learning. I mean, he's allowed to learn as well, isn't he? And at this stage, when he's able to lead from the front as a player as well, he is the whole package. I mean, England are very, very, to be honest, I think world cricket's lucky to have Ben Stokes. He's a very entertaining character, and as a cricketer, he's as good an England player as I've seen, whatever the stats may say. And the stats, to be fair, let's be honest, they're very good. They just, look, I'll tell you something, everyone accepts that Jack Callis's stats are incredible. And Dale Steyn once said in a Q&A I was doing with him in Gqeberka in South Africa, he said if he had a choice, he'd rather have Ben Stokes in his side than Jack Callis.
Really?
That's pretty strong.
That is strong.
Pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's because Ben Stokes wins games and he takes players with him. That's not having to go at Jack Callis, who is obviously a great cricketer. But Ben Stokes inspires and leads in a way that I can't think of anyone who's done it the same way.
Yeah, he's great.
Good stuff, George. Thanks for coming on.
A pleasure as ever.
George Dobell there. From
Last time I looked, Ben had 2 testicles.
Is that right?
I think so. I believe so.
How many have you got? 1889. Actually, the way he talked about Ben Stokes as an inspiration, it made me think of you, Andy. It's a natural, it brings people with him.
Oh, yes.
If you walk around the office, everyone just says, where Andy goes, I follow.
Yeah, sure.
Alex says, lion's mane mushrooms? Is that what you've got? Yeah. They're interesting. They look interesting.
Yeah, it does. Look, it's like a sponge. It's a really odd thing.
Yeah, thanks for showing it. It's not great help to any of the listeners. Show it to this. We're on YouTube. There you are. God, this is what it was made for, isn't it?
Lion's mane.
It can help with dementia, depression, anxiety, nervous injury, gastric ulcers, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, inflammation, immune system. There you are.
I was thinking more, for actually
just for a risotto.
To eat it, yeah.
Fair enough. It sounds good for you anyway. Right.
I'll never know because they're in somebody else's porch.
They are.
If you've got my lion's mane mushrooms, please feel free to eat them. Don't let them go off.
Yeah. Eat Andy's mushrooms. Get me a bike pump. If you're overseas, by the way, you can hear live commentary of England versus India on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs with you on talkSPORT till 4 o'clock. Jordan Nobbs, former England midfielder, will join us. We'll go ahead to the Euros final on Sunday.
Who doesn't love the Ryder Cup, the competition that ignites and unites the greats of golf like no other? 1927 brought us the very first edition at the Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts. For the first 22 editions, when it was just British and Irish golfers versus the US, America were only beaten 3 times. But in 1979, in came Europe, and in came Seve Ballesteros, who went on to win 5 of them. Since Team Europe became a thing, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012. America hasn't won on European soil since 1993 at the Belfry. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. The PGA of America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million, but 2025 will be the first time ever that the US team will receive a fee for playing. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
and she pokes it home off the goalkeeper.
Live for these moments as a little girl, so that little girl today enjoyed every moment of that.
Now time for another summer of unforgettable moments.
This is a new moment, and before every tournament you experience different things.
And Jimmy! 2-2!
That's what we feel when we put the shirt on. It's that we give everything, we run ourselves into the ground.
Holmberg, it's over! England are in the semi-final!
No, we don't make it easy, but we definitely put on a show for everyone watching.
Kelly, save! Kelly there again, it's in! England 2, Italy 1. This is just extraordinary. Tanner, oh, she scored! Berger beats never near post! And Tanner finds a way!
I think England, I'd actually prefer to go up against Spain than I would Germany.
But it's the world champions Spain, who are one game away from European glory. But England's Lionesses will have something to say about that.
Say a big call from Leanna Sanderson to say prefer to play Spain than Germany. I don't know if I totally agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
No, there's been some good adjumangs, haven't
They did well though,
yes.
Germany. In that
they
game.
did really well.
Oh,
Defended
what
really
a
well.
Goal. That was one of. I thought it was one of the goals of the tournament.
Yeah.
There. They blamed the keeper, but I think it was a brilliant turn and shot.
I agree, and she'd seen Berger go, and shame for Berger because she'd had such a great tournament in goal for Germany. Anyway, let's talk to someone who knows more about this than we do. Jordan Nobbs played 71 times for England, just signed for Newcastle as well, but we'll get onto that. But she joined us now. Hey, Jordan, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Excited.
Yes. Would you prefer to play Germany or Spain in the final?
I'd probably took Germany if I'm honest. I think Spain, their quality on the ball. To be fair though, Germany's organisation is unbelievable. So they would have been a tough ask, obviously, but I think Spain are in some good form right now.
Do you think England can look at how Germany's set up against Spain and sort of try and copy that?
A little bit. I mean, naturally you have your own qualities and structure, but I think Germany, they definitely got in their faces, and I think that's something that, Spain don't want that. They want a lot of possession of the ball. They want to get comfortable, get touches. So, you'd like to look a little bit at the aggression that the Lionesses might go in with, to disrupt that. Because I think, Spain struggled to break down Germany, and obviously, that's why the game went on a bit longer than probably what they thought or would have liked.
Nobody thought Arsenal could beat Barcelona in the Champions League final, but they went and did it. So it's a bit like that, isn't it? I mean, everybody thinks Spain will probably do it, but England will believe, and the Arsenal girls in the England team will definitely believe.
Yeah, of course. I think it's silly to still think that England are the underdogs though in that game. I know obviously Spain won the World Cup, but England were there in the final and they won the Euros before that. So I think it's one game now, isn't it? It's what can you do in that time to go on and win the game? So yeah, the Lionesses will believe, and I think the character that they've shown over the last few games has been incredible. It's a never give up attitude.
It's interesting when there's a tournament that some players sort of get all the headlines. So obviously Adjumang's getting a lot of headlines, Chloe Kelly as well, Lauren James as well. No one has seemed to said anything about Keira Walsh. And if they have, it hasn't been necessarily that positive. But every time I watch her, I just think this is the midfielder that I totally trust. Always in the right place. Always that her decision making is so good. I just want, as a fellow midfielder, Jordan, your thoughts. She seems such an important person to be on that pitch for us.
She's so key. I think people, watching the game, they probably don't always see when she calms the game down, her first touch to get out of pressure. And a lot of teams now, they start to try and get Keira out of the game, and people don't see that as well. Sometimes Keira's actually making little movements to actually not get on the ball now because she was so key for England to play through. But yeah, I think she's an incredible player, and I think whenever we talk about the Lionesses, everyone always says, what would we do if Keira Walsh wasn't fit? It would be a big hole in that midfield, and luckily she's been there and been a strong part of this team getting through.
It's probably sacrilege to criticise Serena Wiegmann, but a lot of people, and myself included really, do wonder why she leaves the subs so late. I mean, almost too late, I think. And it's a strange thing that I know that some coaches like to just give the 11 they pick the chance to do the job, but do you think she leaves it too late?
It is a tough one, isn't it? I mean, it works. Could I see her doing that exact same thing in the final? Yes. I think she's always kind of had a plan on when her subs come on. In the last tournaments, it's been like, the 60th, 70th minute. But yeah, it's
this is
getting
later
a little bit,
though, isn't it? This is more like 75, 80.
Yeah, I mean, it's risky, isn't it? It's you're taking that gamble on hoping that there's maybe one or two chances you get with them players, but you can't criticise that it's worked for her. At the end of the day, you're getting through the game.
Yeah, I suppose 5 straight major tournament finals means that you've got to trust Serena Wiegmann over Andy Jacobs.
That's very true.
But there's an interesting point, Jordan, about those changes, about if you make them at 60 minutes, let's say in the semi-final, are the Italians sort of got enough in their legs to deal with the immediate chaos, and then it's not as impactful as you wait till 80, 75, and then not only are they more tired, but they're thinking, we've nearly done this. So psychologically, they're like, it's not like there's that long to go. And so there is a sort of sense in leaving it. So like, I'm screaming at the TV going, change it. I feel like it was just like the men's where I'm shouting at Southgate, but actually maybe there is a logic in leaving it that late.
Yeah, well, I think when we know we make them subs that late on, it is all go, isn't it? It's get the ball in the box. This is it moment. And I think when you look at previous decisions Serena's made, she's made changes in the back line to strengthen the team. She went to a back 3 one game because Sweden were getting down the channel. So I think she does know what she's doing. You can't criticise her making them decisions. I think if you had lost the last game, you'd have said, why didn't you put the subs on earlier? But like you said, maybe that's a 10-minute hit of, run yourself to the ground in them 10 minutes and get the ball in the box rather than maybe over the longer period of time.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, when they won the tournament, there was a massive amount of interest, but it's just grown and grown and grown. I was reading this morning, Lionesses kit sales are 41% higher than the 2023 World Cup final campaign. So it's just growing, isn't it? All the time.
Yeah, it's incredible. I've obviously been in the WSL since it started and, been to a lot of major tournaments. And after every major tournament, the growth is just incredible. What these girls over the last 10 years have done to push the women's game, it's huge. And it's another moment where they're inspiring a nation and progressing the game by hard work and talent, really.
Yeah, very worrying for people who are sort of kids who are 12 and under, because they'll see the men and the women constantly getting to finals and semi-finals and thinking this is normality, and then suddenly then they'll have like a 40-year run where it's absolutely hopeless. Jordan, you've just signed for Newcastle, which is great, but you were at Sunderland from 8 years old to 21, I guess. Has anyone said it yet? Jordan, are you sure? Are you sure about this?
I bet they have.
I think people actually think I was there a lot longer. I actually left when I was like 17 from Sunderland to Arsenal. So, yeah, I grew up on the other side of the water. But no, I think to come back to the Northeast and push the women's game up there is huge for me. I think Newcastle have massive ambitions, and I can see that, and hopefully the Northeast can get back on the map with women's football, because there's been some huge players that have come from the Northeast, and we want to progress it again.
Well, listen, good luck with that, and enjoy the final, Jordan. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Jordan Nobbs there. You can hear live coverage of England-Spain. The final of Euro 2025 right here on talkSPORT. Kickoff is at 5 p.m.
Is it? I thought it was 6. Is it 5? Okay, I'll check.
Maybe they're changing it all the time. I mean, I don't know. Do I trust that?
Do you want to know where the Lionesses are staying?
Yes, please.
They're staying in a plush hotel, according to the Daily Star, with some rooms costing up to £13,000 a night.
Whoa.
Whenever you look into it, though, it's always like the top suite. I don't think, Alicia Russo's room is 13
But does Russo
grand.
get that room for she gets it for like 14 days, and then Agamang is brought on into that room just for like, she just only got half a day in this one.
It's the Dolder Grand Hotel in Zurich.
I know it, yes.
Which boasts a butler service.
Good, yes.
A sauna.
Yeah.
And panoramic views across the city.
Lovely.
The luxury hotel also has a Lacoste clay tennis court in the don't know what that would be, in the surrounding forest.
Do you know what I hate? When you get to a hotel and the tennis court isn't clay. When it's because obviously I'm much better on clay. And I can't play on this. I can't play on this surface. Not Flushing Meadows, for goodness sake. Any more hotel info?
Yes, finally, you can have lunch with in the restaurant with a 2 Michelin stars. 4-course set lunch will cost you 220 quid. Quite reasonable.
Not really a fine dining guy. Would you do that?
Not
do you
really,
like it?
no, I don't think. I think I just have a bit of Rosti and a...
Would you? And a fondue, of course you would.
For the cliche.
Yeah. Come on, why not, eh? Get your fondues out, everybody. Yes,
That's what we should do on Sunday,
just to
really.
confirm, fondue party at talkSPORT. Me and Barry will have a fondue party live in the warm-up, looking at Euro 2025. And don't trust Andy, kickoff is at 5 p.m. All these listeners going, I turned on at half-time. Mind you, if the way England are currently playing, half-time is probably a good time to switch on, isn't it?
After 80 minutes.
After Spain have battered us, but it's still 1-0, and then we can get it launched at you, man. 5 o'clock kickoff. Coverage will start probably at 4, but, listen to talkSPORT 24 hours a day. What else would you do? Ollie Klink will join us in just a second, and we'll do some transfer tittle-tattle. You're listening to Rushden Jacobs on talkSPORT. Max in for Paul today, brought to you with Toolstation. Get thousands of products delivered to you with Fast Track on the Toolstation app. Next stop, Toolstation. Let's go to Old Trafford. India have made a breakthrough, Sam Ellard.
Yeah, they needed it. I said in Danny's show, Max, earlier that I couldn't believe it took Shubman Gill 68 overs to bring Washington Sundar into the attack, given how well he bowled at Lords. He's given a few overs before lunch, and after lunch he struck. Ollie Pope got to 71. It was a wider ball from Washington Sundar, leaving a drift away from the right-hander. A full ball that Pope looked to drive through the covers. It took the outside edge, and it was well caught at first slip from KL Rahul. So Pope goes for 71. Joe Root at the crease, who earlier today became the third highest run scorer in the history of Test match cricket, closing in as well. And Ricky Ponting, he's got 71 runs to his name as Harry Brook come to the crease. The new ball is available for India in 4 overs time, so they have their first wicket of day 3, with England 341 for 3 and trailing by 17.
A live commentary on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel if you happen to live overseas, and download the following on podcasts for all the best reaction to the day's action. Let's do a bit of transfer stuff. The window's slammed open. Ollie Klinkle is still open, everybody. Ollie Klink has been watching everything that is happening, I'm presuming talking to many of his sources.
Isn't it prized open and slammed shut?
Is that right? It's with they get who prizes open? Fabrizio Romano gets a lead piping and just gets this thing open. Anyway,
closely behind him.
I'm hearing. Hey, Ollie Klink's here. Ollie, how are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Max. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. Nice to have you on. Where should we start? Should we start with Alexander Isak? Craig Hope from the Mail broke the story yesterday. He was on breakfast with Alan Brazil and Gabby Ogmonlaw. I was asked if the striker was really injured after he didn't travel to Singapore with the team for a pre-season tour.
Yeah, he trained on Monday. After about 5 minutes, I believe, he walked out complaining of the lingering issue in his thigh, and he hasn't trained since. So that's where we're at now. And Gabby, you know, your summation of the situation there, I think, is exactly spot on. If Alexander Isak, even with a slight thigh injury, you bring your star player on these lucrative commercial stories to us.
Yeah, he's right.
Ollie, thoughts?
But who can buy him, Ollie? He's so expensive and he wants so much money. Really, I can only see Saudi Arabia. I mean, have Liverpool got the flexibility to sign him? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what, Andy? I was on Transfer Insiders last night, and as a Newcastle fan, I've spent most of the last 24 hours in the fetal position, rocking back and forth after hearing this news. But I spoke to Kieran Maguire, the oracle of football finance, last night, and he actually said that Liverpool not only wouldn't necessarily have to sell in order to afford Isak, they're in such a strong position, both PSR-wise and financially, that they do have the money to spring a bid for him, which seems astonishing. But when you think about, the fact that they've, saved up their pocket money last season, they didn't really bring anyone in, and they've been very smart with their sales too. So it is a deal that the Liverpool could do if they do want to chase him. But like you say, at the moment, Newcastle are still adamant that he's not for sale. But if a deal is worked out for him, and it obviously is made awkward by the fact that Isak himself has said that he wants to explore other options, Newcastle would much rather sell to the Saudis. We know that Al Hilal have been trying to prepare a bid too. They'd rather sell to the Saudis than a Premier League rival.
Can't see Newcastle selling to the Saudis. It just feels like this. It's impossible that deal could be done.
I know. But I mean, again, I spoke to Ben Jacobs, my colleague, last night about that very issue too, Max, and he said that it is something that could be a possibility. But it's whether Isak wants to actually go there, and at the moment we believe the player would rather stay at a club that could play in the Champions League rather than go off to Saudi.
Something's turned his head because he was happy Newcastle made the Champions League, so everything seemed all right. So presumably it's Liverpool's interest that's turned his head.
Yeah, we do understand that he was frustrated last week when Liverpool made that initial approach whilst they were taking Hugo Ekitike away from the grasp of Newcastle. Isak was a bit frustrated that it was completely rebuffed by Newcastle. And I think it's because, Andy, as well, he's a bit frustrated by the current pay that he has. He was after, it was reported, around 300,000 a week. And when you look at what he's achieved for the club, at the moment, I believe he's, on something like 130,000. He must look across the board, even in the Premier League, and think, well, a striker of my quality could be on more than that. And I think the main frustration as well for Newcastle fans is that I believe that there was a time where he would have signed on to a new contract if the terms were at least improved slightly, but the sporting director at the time, Paul Mitchell, decided that he felt he was on enough at that period of time and that his contract was taking him to 2028, so didn't decide to go down that route. So it could be, for me, I think that it's not just the lure of potentially joining a side that will be more than challenging for the Premier League and maybe more next season in Liverpool, but also the fact that it seems that Newcastle, for whatever reason, whether it's PSR restrictions or not, weren't willing to maybe give him the money that he felt he deserved.
You'd be annoyed if you were Hugo Ekitike. You're the star striker for a day, no games, and now, God.
Eddie, but just before we move away from Newcastle, Eddie Howe basically having to be the sort of like director of football. We had this at Chelsea when Tuchel did it. It's not a great plan, actually. It's very hard for the manager to manage and do this. So I think that's a problem for Newcastle too.
Ollie, I'm interested in James Trafford going to Manchester City. I think would be a very good signing. I mean, obviously, they're buying him back, but he sort of feels perfect for what Man City want out of a goalkeeper.
Absolutely, yeah. Yet another snub for Newcastle. We've been chasing him all summer as well.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, did you? Oh, I wasn't sure if it was another little dig. But yeah, I mean, Man City feel that they're getting a really good deal here as well, because he's a player they sold for 14 million, and it's looking like the fee could be around 27 million. And I feel at the moment, especially with the way he performed last season in the Championship, James Trafford, we could be looking at a future England number one. We do believe Ederson will be staying at the club too, because, he has been convinced, Trafford, and swayed by the fact that Pep Guardiola does want him at the club. But I wonder what they'll do in terms of who will be the number one next season if Trafford does arrive, because as good as the season was last time out, still a young keeper, and of course Man City are going to be, as they do, going out for all kinds of titles. It'd be interesting to see whether Guardiola rates him so highly that he comes straight in and is the number one.
Ederson had a poor season there by his standards, really. So, what else are you hearing?
What else are you hearing? Yeah. What about Gyökeres? He's arriving this weekend, is he? Because I haven't heard anyone ask if Arsenal need a centre forward in the last.
I think it's a great signing.
This has come from nowhere, hasn't it, Max? We believe he'll be having his medical at Arsenal on Saturday. Should be announced by the end of the weekend. The fee will be €63.5 million with 10 million in add-ons. And we do understand as well that he'll be taking the number 14 shirt, which is the iconic number at Arsenal, of course, after the exploits of Thierry Henry. So a bit of a statement, it feels like, from Gyökeres if he's coming in and wants to take that number 2. But it feels fitting, doesn't it, if he's coming in as that main man?
Yeah, totally. What are Tottenham doing, Ollie? Anything? Where's Morgan Gibbs-White? I've stopped typing Morgan Gibbs-White into social media.
Yeah, I mean, that situation obviously still complicated by Evangelos Marinakis and that situation.
It's not like him to complicate matters.
I know. Isn't it out of character? But it still feels as if that deal is one that will eventually go through, but obviously a few stumbling blocks at the moment, given Marinakis being so against it happening. But yeah, we understand obviously there's still talks going on in that scenario, and that Gibbs-White could still end up being a Tottenham player.
They're looking at Paulinho at Tottenham, aren't they?
Oh yeah, from Bayern. Would be a good sign. And he's someone in midfield there.
Good for Fulham.
We were having a discussion about Xavi Simons before the show. It was a really good one. We should have put it on a podcast or something, Andy. But Ollie, because I thought he was another winger, and I was like, Chelsea can't have another winger. But Nader Manuha put me right to say he is a 10. He's definitely a 10 and not a winger. But that is still Cole Palmer's position. So what's he doing?
Cole Palmer can't play every game. He can't.
No, he can't. No, you're right.
It was different last year for Chelsea. They were in the conference and they could play a second team and it didn't matter. And when you're in the Champions League, you've got to play your best team. So, I think, and he can't play every game. He just can't.
But they're still selling a lot of this. I can't remember how many attackers they've got, Ollie.
I know, the list is endless. And also, I think Simons can play either side and as a number 10 as well. So actually, a bit of that versatility might be something that is appealing for Enzo Maresca. I think Chelsea want another attacker because they're expecting Christopher Nkunku to leave as well. There's still some interest in Garnacho too. But yeah, in terms of Simons, they've opened talks. He's close to agreeing personal terms. He is still in a few talks with Bayern and Arsenal as well, but he is prioritising a move to the Premier League.
But it's all about net spend. It's at the end of the window. It's not just what you've spent; it's what you've sold as well. And Chelsea will bring in. They've already brought in a lot of money. They'll bring in. I think it looks like Fulham are interested in Dewsbury Hall and Sterling. I read this morning.
Yeah, but the interesting thing I wonder, chaps, is if you're at what point does a player think, I don't know if I want to go there, because you could be Nkunku, right? Who is a brilliant footballer, but then you end up in the sort of the Conference League squad or whatever it is. Like, at what point? And maybe players all have such self-belief, because you have to have self-belief as a footballer.
But in the end, I was saying to you, people go on and on about it, but every team at the start of the season will have 26 players. That's all you can have. You can't have any more. 8 of them or whatever have to be homegrown and all this sort of situation.
How excited are both of you about the surprise signing of Peli Ruddock and Panzu to Cambridge United, who played for Luton in every division and now is going to League Two? Is that something that you've been working on a lot, Ollie, or is that something that only I'm excited about?
We've been keeping an eye on that throughout the entire transfer window. Good. And It's a name that's cropped up a lot, Max, of course, Raducanu Banzu. Decent player. I think he would do a good job, won't he, for
Absolutely
Cambridge?
right. Yes. I mean, I don't listen to every minute of the Transfer Insiders, but I presume that will be led on.
I think we did a half an hour on it.
Are they League Two?
We went down to League Two, yeah.
Oh, yes.
But we're building well with Neil Harris and Mark Bonner in charge.
Nice new kit as well, Max.
Lovely kit. Yes, I was in the video. The announcement, the social media went viral.
Really?
It got 100 retweets. Exciting stuff. Yes. Anyway, you're back tonight, Ollie, with the Transfer Insiders from 7, alongside Harry Simio. He's good, Harry. So I'm not saying you're not good, Ollie. You're both good. It'll be a good programme.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming on and telling us what you're going to talk about later. Cheers, Ollie.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks, guys.
And there is a live transfer blog, if you really can't get enough of this stuff. talkSPORT.com for all the latest news. What's happened? Oh, no. Now the thing is, what could that be? The listeners don't know. And has Andy dropped a cup of tea on his foot? Has he just been delivered some very bad news?
Stupidest shots you'll ever see.
Baz ball is so terrible. It never delivers.
Just ludicrous.
Sam Mellard, fill us in,
He just ran
please.
past it.
As Andy says, Harry Brooks just ran past the ball from Washington Sundar and has got to go for 3. Washington Sundar, it's kind of a little bit of a nothing ball, perhaps maybe a little bit of drift and movement away from the right-hander, but not a great deal. I'm not really entirely sure what Harry Brook is trying to do as he comes down the wicket, but he walks past the ball. Washington Sundar's got 2 after lunch. He got Pope for 71. Now he gets Brook for 3. The second new ball is available it's available now, actually. India not taking it yet, but when they want to, they'll have a fresh new ball with Jasper Bumrah ready to go. Brook's gone for 3. England have lost 2 wickets in the afternoon session, 349 for 4, trailing by 9.
They will get a lead, England, but it's not going to be as big as it should be. It won't be. I mean, that was a ridiculous shot by Brooks.
Should never play cricket for his country again.
Ludicrous. You've only made 3. That's something you might do when you've made 103. It's idiotic.
It wasn't a good shot.
Ridiculous.
You're right, Andy. It is Max Rushden. Thanks, Sam, by the way. It's Max Rushden, Andy Jacobs here until 4.
There's a lot of talk about the independent football regulator. Some people love the sound of it, others don't. But what actually is it? And is it going to be any good for the game? In simple terms, it'll be an organisation not controlled by the Premier League, the EFL or the government, which will make sure all clubs are financially stable and don't rip off the fans. The aim is to make sure what happened to Bury, Derby and Reading doesn't happen again. Now, a significant reason clubs go under is because of dodgy owners financially mismanaging the club and running it into the ground. But in theory, these should be a thing of the past with the new regulator. They'll be able to use data from the National Crime Agency to perform stronger fit and proper persons tests and can even force owners to give up their stake in a club, which for certain supporters might be a welcome relief. It's likely good news for the EFL. The tension between them and the Premier League over a fair financial deal has been increasing in recent years. As it stands, talks have broken down. The Premier League backed out of recent negotiations, but the regulator will have the power to force through a deal, meaning more money for clubs lower down the pyramid. Now, this might sound simple, but in reality there's concerns this will open a legal can of worms, which could result in messy court cases involving the Premier League and the regulator. Parachute payments will be brought under the control of the regulator too. If they reduce them, it could mean a wider variety of clubs securing promotion to the top flight, but critics reckon it'll just mean the gap between the Premier League and EFL actually widens, as promoted clubs won't get as much money, which should normally be used to buy better players so they can compete. And current Premier League clubs have said if there were no parachute payments, they'd actually invest less, which would harm the quality of the top flight. And if clubs don't invest, then you'll get exactly what the EFL don't want, which is the same 3 clubs going down every year. And remember when Cardiff's owners changed the club's colours and badge? Well, in future, fans will have to approve any major changes to their club's heritage. Now that might all sound great, but do we really need it? Some say the downfall of Reading and Bury is an exception, not the rule. So as a whole, the most successful footballing pyramid in world football doesn't need regulation. They say it scares investors who can help grow the game. If those investors go elsewhere, well, the Premier League may no longer be the destination for the best players in the world. And others, well, they just don't trust politicians to appoint truly independent people to regulate our game.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Paul Hawksby and Jacobs, but not Paul. Max Rushden for Paul today until 4. And you know, people know that I live in Australia, and I've come back for a couple of months with the family, and it's obviously lovely to come back and see friends and family. And what you want is, you know, you want to come back and see nothing has changed, and to sit in a break of Andy Jacobs just going, Harry Brook should be ashamed of himself. You've got a responsibility to the nation, Harry. Just see this.
It's such an idiotic show. It's made no sense at all. It wasn't Arthur or Martha. It was just nothing.
I could listen to you ranting
nothing
about a wicket all day.
I've got dog news though.
Oh, okay. Hit us with some dog news.
Cocker Spaniels have superseded French Bulldogs as Britain's favourite.
Delighted to hear it. Well done to the Cocker Spaniels. Delighted.
What's Australia's favourite dog, would you say?
I don't know.
Are there a lot of dogs in Australia?
Yeah.
Do they have wasps in France?
Is this where we've got to already? I hate to surprise you. Do you not remember Bouncer? You know, one of the greatest dogs. And he wasn't.
He was a Labrador.
He was a Labrador. But I'm not really a dog person. I find the entitlement of dog owners almost as annoying as the entitlement of, parents with young children. Now, I think it's fine. Obviously, massive hypocrisy for my son to run around a cafe showing people, tiny excavators that they might not be interested in. But if a dog comes up and licks my leg and they just go, oh, he's just, I'm lying in the park and they lick my face. I suddenly just go, I'm sorry, he's not normally like that. Well, he was like it then. Stop it.
But you have changed, because at one time, when I was showing you photos of my grandchildren, you said, I hate photos of other people's children. So I was quite shocked. It was almost as bad as me and Harry Brook. It was very vehement. Now you can't wait to get
I've got photos to show you. Hey, I'm not saying you're old, Andy, but I've just...
I am.
You are reasonable. You're of an age. Experienced, aren't you? You can't pay for experience like this. Giles Brandreth...
heritage, apparently.
Yes, you are. You're heritage, you are. Giles Brandreth ended up with a mouthful of Voltarol cream after brushing his teeth with the lights dimmed. The Telestar 77 said he must be getting older, as he couldn't tell the difference between toothpaste and the pain relief rub. It does sound... It would...
Well, it was in the dark. He obviously could taste the difference.
Tough with your gums.
I'll tell you something about Giles Brandreth.
Taste the difference. That is Sainsbury's motto.
I don't mean to put him down, but he's a bit of a fake old Giles, because when you see him on telly...
Wow, he's a fraud.
Because when you see him on telly, he's like, I've got my personality, sweaters, I've got such a great personality, look at this sweater.
Yeah, but I saw
him out in a restaurant with his wife, and he was just wearing a plain lamb's wool camel colour. It's the most boring sweater you could ever imagine.
Really? So when he gets home, he gets home and he rips off that colourful pastel jumper and puts on something beige and says, "I hate colours. I hate colours," and he swears at them. Anyway, it was just a word of warning to you, Andy, as you get into your advanced years, to make sure when you open the toothpaste, you're certain it's not toothpaste and not Araldite. Be careful.
Good, yeah. I'm not as old as Britain's oldest hole-in-ones.
No, I've seen it. Many congratulations. John Payne. John Payne.
John Payne. We might get him on.
90.
We collect because it's been a great staple of the show over the years.
Yeah.
The hole-in-one. So, you know.
But it is an interview. I'm glad we haven't got him today. I'm not saying that you're just like, yes, it's good, but you don't know how good they're going to be as a 10-minute interview. You know, because it is. I just hit the ball and there it was in the hole. Maybe John Payne is a raconteur. Maybe he'll be the Peter Ustinov of holes in one. But yeah, 90 at Brailsford Golf Course near Ashbourne in Derbyshire. He has deteriorating eyesight. He said, "I didn't realise it had gone in. It's 200 yards. It's 200 yards,
well, that's
and
tremendous.
He can hit it. He's a 90-year-old. Blimey, what would he play off with a 200-yard? Probably, I'd say a hybrid.
Yeah,
I think he's hitting a hybrid. He's hitting
a driver. I would have said
a Toyota Prius. He's using. Anyway. Well done to John. Humans could actually be aliens after boffins discovered the building blocks of life may have begun in outer space. Should I carry on?
Not really, because I was going to tell you about Liz Truss.
Yes, I've seen
She's
this.
fantastic. She was playing a round of golf at Troon, wasn't it? So obviously sort of trying to get in with Trump.
Yeah. She's a good egg, isn't she? She did good for this country. Big fan of her politics. Yeah, I won't hear a word against Truss.
No,
and you can also hear me on Drive Time on Talk Radio starting on Monday.
This was a strange letter, though. I mean, obviously we lost Ozzy Osbourne this week, and he was great, wasn't he? But
yes, he was iconic.
Dorothy Stokes, no relation, wrote. I don't know, she might be. Wrote in and said to the Sun and said, "I can't believe yesterday Smooth Radio, West Midlands breakfast show, didn't play a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne." It's Smooth Radio. Why would they?
Which one of Ozzy's acoustic B-sides would you take?
It's brilliant.
I think of all the letters to the Star that I like the best, it was from Billy in Coventry, and I'm afraid I can't bring you the context.
Right.
Good idea, Jane. Whatever. Don't know what Jane's idea is. They don't tell us.
No.
Put cats on leads, so they mess in your own gardens and not other people's. Better still, ban them as a public nuisance.
Ban them.
Cats banned.
They can't be.
Yeah. There we are.
Really,
That's my favourite letter. Do you want to know what David Jason's up to?
Yes.
He's launching model rockets into space. The Only Fools and Horses star says he loves nothing more than using his spare time to fire them into the sky and see how they fare. Do you want to know what the biggest rocket he's launched? How big is the biggest rocket that David Jason has launched into space?
Oh, it's got to be quite big. Big as a chandelier?
I don't think he measures things in its 2 chandeliers. Yeah, no, he's using feet and inches still, not chandeliers.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to have a guess?
Did he fall through a bar while doing it?
He did. It's like Trigger's broom, his rocket. It's had a different. I don't know any. If I knew the different parts of a rocket, this would be better. Wouldn't it be a better joke? He has launched numerous rockets and has now built a 4'6" scale model recreation of the Saturn V rocket used for the Apollo moon missions. He's set to blast off any day now. Oh, it is set to blast off. He's not going to sit on it and blast off. He told the Things We Like podcast. Is that a podcast? I mean, I for one cannot criticise very basic ideas for podcasts. No.
Charlie Baker said the other week that you're never more than 3 foot away from a podcast in life. That's absolutely spot on, really.
But I do have a podcast called What Did You Do Yesterday? You'd love you to go. You'd be good. Actually, be a great guest, Andy.
I'd be more interested if you invited me to be on it, but you never have.
I haven't yet.
I'm not famous enough. You've had some very good people.
Yeah, I've got some big guns.
Yeah, big names.
Big names. Yeah, but you could shift the dial. You could get the. You could turn the needle on that. He says, "I've built it and I've got it in my garage and I'm waiting for the right time for the weather to settle down so I can launch it. It's quite technical stuff." So good on David Jason for going into building rockets.
Did you know that talkSPORT's Troy Deeney is a massive fan of the Antiques Roadshow?
I didn't know Troy Deeney was a massive fan of the Antiques Roadshow, but tell me
I'd like
more.
to see him on it. I'd like to see him sort of
he could host
bring
it.
along.
He could host
He's
it.
got some good memorabilia.
Yeah. I think he's got.
He
his
couldn't
chops,
host
though.
it. He was no
Troy could...
Fiona Bruce.
I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying let's not give him question time straight away, but let's ease him in. But I like Deeney. You know, of the new crop that that are on.
He says I watch Antiques Roadshow, and that one brackets bargain hunt as well, where they used to run round and buy things and then try to sell it. these couples had grafted all day and they'd got 80 quid and they were like, yes, we've won. Well, that is bargain.
That is bargain. He's described it. It's good. It's a bit like Tom Jones on The Voice. I always like Tom Jones on The Voice because he'd press his button and explain the rules of The Voice. I pressed my button because I couldn't see you, and I wanted to see you because I liked your voice, and now I can see you. Excuse the...
he is 85.
Well, no, fair enough. I mean,
he said it's John Payne.
Exactly. I pressed my button, I built a rocket, and I'm going into space with David Jason. Matt says, I once inadvertently attempted to clean my teeth with Germaloids. I was on a stag do and I woke up a little worse for wear, as you can imagine. One of the other lads had left his ointment on the sink.
That's
so, what have you cleaned your teeth with? 8:29. We'll take that. Do you want any more bits? Do you want to hear
go on, give me another bit. You're very
Atherton?
good today. No wonder you brought in your own scissors.
Well, do you know, I brought my own scissors because for my weekend shows, we don't have the time for vignettes. It's not a time. Saturday, you're building up to the games.
There's a lot. Go
Sunday,
get it.
Yeah, you're right. Sunday, you're looking back at the games.
Autobiography wars.
Yeah, exactly. You know, how tall are they? All the great features.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you'll feel this is a good one or not. Do you read about Michael Atherton?
This is a strange story. Michael Atherton's trumps.
He is the most flatulent in the skybox. Stuart Broad revealed, he says, Broad revealed his bad habit, Michael Atherton's habit, on the For Love of Cricket podcast, of course. He says...
But he's got no sense of smell, apparently.
Is that right?
Athers, yeah. So he's sort of unable to detect.
Sure.
But he sure mustn't know. He must be able to feel
He's got nerves in his arse.
Are you allowed to say that at 2:14? I don't think so.
Am I not?
Would you mind
Did that pass through? Did that pass through? I don't know. Surely it has. This is when you live in Australia. Honestly, the interesting thing is Australia. The rules of broadcasting are so different.
You can say anything, can't you? I know.
When you come back to the UK and you can't say anything these days, if you're one of those people that can't say anything these days, go to Australia. You can potty mouthed on radio. I've been on shows there and they've said things. I've said, we can't be on air there. So I'm sorry for bringing this radio station and this show into the gutter. But, you know, he should be able to feel when they're on the way out, Athers.
Well, I'd say he would be able to,
Absolutely.
Really. I'll never look at him in the same way.
It's breaking news here. Is this breaking news from me, is it? Do I read out the breaking news? Well, it says, what the interesting thing about breaking news is it says here, Wrexham have made an approach to sign the former Spurs, Brentford and Man United midfielder Christian Eriksen. There you go. Wrexham. Yeah, it says it on, if you're watching on YouTube, it says it in big letters.
That is interesting. That's a very interesting thing because when he was at Brentford, he was fantastic, but it never really worked for him at United, did it?
The Championship, notoriously difficult league, Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
There are lots of big old men playing for Wrexham if they're still there. You know,
I think he's left, Mullins.
Paul Mullins gone, yeah.
Or he's on his way, I think.
But who have they got? Stephen Fletcher still there? James McLean, you know, but they have, they've got, he can hoy it in the mixer for them.
I think they did that. Weren't they signing Josh Winder, the Sheffield Wednesday player as well?
Quite possible.
It's going to be very interesting to see how they go in the Championship. I mean, can you imagine if they got promoted? I mean, absolutely.
Can I imagine it? I can.
Well, it's an amazing. It seems unlikely, but you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, this Saturday sees a boxing doubleheader. Both sides of the Atlantic, everybody, as British titles are on the line, as Ghana takes on Belotti live from Bournemouth, and 5-weight world champion and undisputed heavyweight champion Claressa Shields defends all her titles against 2-weight champion Lani Daniels in Detroit. Live only on DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com/boxing.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Sir. Flatulent cricketers, W.C. Grace, he says. Do you want to go?
W.C. Grace.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, very clever. Yeah.
Are we doing that? Oh,
well, why not?
Know.
It's Friday.
Absolutely. Excellent. Lower the tone.
Yeah.
We'll take your flatulent cricketers. 8:10:89 at Max Rushden. Why not? We can edit them. We can edit them as they come in. I'll do my very best to bring the show back from the gutter to where I took it a few minutes ago. Anyway, let's talk about the interest in people trying to get out for the final of Euro 2025. Rob Abcock is a travel journalist. Joins us in the studio now. Hey, Rob, you okay?
Very well, thank you. Are you?
I'm good, yes. Although I'm not desperately trying to get to Switzerland. I've just landed in the UK. I can't. I've got 2 young children. Don't ever take them on a long-haul flight. That would be my advice to anybody. I mean, you're a travel, you know better than I do, but
it's funny you should say that. My wife and I have just landed back in London. Yeah. We're in Menorca for our summer holiday, but we've come back for a little gig that's going on tonight in North London somewhere.
Oh, right, I see. Oh, well, we haven't mentioned Oasis coming back. Do you have children?
We've got 2 little girls.
Did you just leave them in Menorca with the door open and just...
They'll be all right. Chuck them a Kit Kat, they'll be fine. So what we've done is we've done the classic, which is leave them with the parents-in-law. Do you know what I mean? God. Trick the parents-in-law to come along.
Yeah.
Lower them in under false pretenses, leave the kids with them, see you later, we're off on an EasyJet flight.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's the way forward.
Yeah.
Well, it is. So are a lot of people trying to get out there for the final? And if they are, is it possible? And can they get tickets at this late stage?
I think the people that are trying to get out at this moment in time is one of those things where you know what it's like. Whenever there's a massive an event like this, everyone wants to go and get involved. You've seen the images from the fan parks. It looks amazing. I've got a friend that's been out there working for the entire tournament, and he said the atmosphere has been absolutely phenomenal. So obviously there's going to be a big surge. If you look at the amount of people searching to go from the UK to Switzerland the day before, 193% increase in searches by Skyscanner to go from the UK to Switzerland. So there are loads of ways to get there. There are loads of different ways to do it. It's just a case about being smart with it, really.
Yeah. And it's not cheap when you get there.
No,
That's what we've heard. People saying, a mediocre pizza, which is not what it says on the menu.
Oh, I love a mediocre pizza myself.
It's like 30 quid.
What you need to remember is I live in Stoke-on-Trent, so even a mediocre pizza over there is probably like gourmet meal for me. Yeah. So I really can.
Bit harsh on Stoke.
It's okay, I live there.
You can say it.
I can say that. It's fine.
Pizza on a cold night in Stoke on a Tuesday.
Do it. Can you do a Diavolo on a cold Tuesday in Stoke? So look, there's lots of searches, but that means lots of people are, is there hotel capacity? Getting a ticket for this final must be, next to impossible.
Yeah, I think it's not the biggest stadium in the world. Is it 37,000 capacity this weekend? So looking at when you get in there in the first place, the one thing that people have been doing is people have been getting put off by the headline flights. Because if you look at it and you go, right, okay, we're going to go over here, and you click on and you have a look to try and find a flight, and it's best part of £1,000, it's going to be expensive, but there are ways to do it where it doesn't have to be that expensive. Yes, granted, if you want to fly straight there, you want to fly straight into Basel tomorrow or on the day of the match, you're going to be paying a premium, but there's always ways
combi van to
yeah, why not?
Okay,
it's an experience, isn't it?
So is that what you do? You would find what is the cheapest way to get there?
Well, I'm very glad that you should ask me that, because that's not been wasted research.
There
are a couple of different ways. I had a little bit of a check just before we came on. So adding a stop is really important. So a good example of this, I went to see Hungary versus Sweden in the Nations League a couple of weeks ago. If we wanted to fly direct into Budapest, it was one price. I think it was about 100 quid. But because I am the tightest man you've ever met,
right, this is
if
good.
We flew into Mallorca the day before, 20 quid there, then 20 quid on from Mallorca to Budapest, and get 2 days away from the kids. Wife looks after the kids.
That's incredible.
I'm in Budapest.
20
I've got a
quid
night
to
out.
go from Mallorca to
and you get a night in
night in Mallorca.
Yeah.
So obviously,
what did Mrs. Adcock say?
She loves it. She just, as you probably understand in the last few minutes of speaking to me, I can be quite a lot. So me being out the house, fantastic result for her more than anything. But again, adding a stop, when it's a massive event like this, any kind of big sporting event, the further away you can go from the match day, it always helps. If you think a little bit outside, but adding a stop is definitely the way forward.
Right, so the further you can go. So if you go to Auckland and then Santiago and then back, that'll work.
But then turn it into a work trip.
Right,
you're a week. Yeah. Everyone's happy. Get a bit of content. Everyone's good for
Football tourism, though, it's become, it has been for some time, but it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
People, especially South America, a lot of people ask me, what's it like to go to a river or Boca, and they want to, it's a sort of bucket list thing that they want to do. So, and you just mentioned going to see Hungary. I mean, it's quite an obscure thing to do.
Yeah. For me,
Unless you're Hungarian.
Yeah, of course, or Swedish. I think for me, the one I really want to go to is Argentina. You mentioned that probably about 18 months ago, we did a thing where we went to every single round of the Champions League without going to the same country twice, and it was brilliant. So we went to see matches in Malta, we went to see matches in Poland, went all everywhere. But the best one that we've done recently on this theme of football tourism, we went to see 3 European football matches on 3 consecutive days in 3 different countries for under 300 quid.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a lot of threes, I appreciate, but it was worth it. So we flew into Barcelona, it was like a 9 quid flight, then on to Milan, and then we got the train.
What life this guy's living. It's ridiculous.
Don't keep saying that because my wife...
Flight for 9 quid.
My wife will be listening. You're going to get me into trouble.
Yeah. No, well, I think you should be in trouble, frankly.
But the thing is, as well, try not to look at the same airlines, because a lot of people will just jump on and they'll go, right, okay, I know that this airline flies directly to this place, so don't just think I'll go straight to there and come straight back. There's always different ways around it, so just be smart with it, have a little look around, jump on Skyscanner and then see what you can find out.
And the interesting thing about football tourism is, the same fans who really want to go to El Clasico or River Boca get really annoyed with tourists coming to watch Premier League football because it's different, isn't it? Like, what are these? I hate tourist fans here. Oh yeah, I'm just off to watch, Atletico Madrid next week, right? We're all tourists somewhere, right?
It feels like this could be a collaboration between us 3. I feel like I'll organise it.
Yeah.
We'll all go. You're not jumping at the chance, gents. But I won't take it personally.
Tourism, the other side of it that it doesn't work for me is when you go to games here, and you'll be sitting in there, like when I go to Chelsea, and I've had people come up to me, right outside the ground and say, "Can you tell me the way to Stamford Bridge?" I'm standing right outside it. What are you talking about? And that becomes quite irritating. And with Spurs, it's sort of like a bunch of South Korean fans that are only there for Sonny, that sort of idea. It can get a bit. It affects the atmosphere, I think.
Sure, but you have to. You can't. If you don't like tourists coming to your games, you can't go and be a tourist at another game unless you want.
Premier League is a worldwide thing.
Listen, I'll check with Mrs. Rushden if I can go on a mini break. We've only arrived a week ago.
Where did you go?
I live in Australia generally, so I was here for 2 months. So I think if I say, look, I know the kids are still jet lagged. Do you mind? I've met this guy. I've never met him before. He seems all right. I'm going to Basel via Mallorca for 3 nights. Yeah. What do you think? I'll let you know.
Why would you say no?
There are many reasons.
Okay,
I would say. But look, thanks for coming on, Rob. Appreciate your time greatly. And what do you? So when you do things like that, do you presumably TikTok all of it or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the gig, right?
Yeah. So when I explained to my mum and my dad that my life vocation, my life choice, when her friends, families, like sons and daughters, become doctors, and I go around the world making videos for the internet. Yeah.
Right. And so do you have a sort of basically a blank sheet of paper and say, why don't we see how to get to the South Pole using only trains or whatever, and then go, oh, well, this will be a good idea?
Yeah, I come at it from a point of view of I've got a few friends that are big football fans, obviously a big football fan, but when you just throw an idea, you'd be sitting around, you go and see some mates and you go, what about this or what about this? And if there's like a nice little angle.
Right. So is it purely football or you do lots of different things?
Right. But for me, I love football and I love travelling. So like we went to Cadiz last week, and that was, I don't know if you've ever been there, unbelievable. So like we're going to go back and going to go do a load of going to see all the second tier Spanish football. Wow. So I want to go and see like all those different places. Some good ones.
That's good. And who's paying you? This is good.
Various people.
Right.
Yeah, who'd have thought it?
Yeah. Well done to you. Hats off.
Yeah, if you can turn a hobby into a living, that's the best thing ever.
That's exactly how it started. Just me and my mates started doing it a couple of years ago, where we just started going away for a few days. But they've all got like responsibilities that they can't palm off.
So do you.
I know, but I can manage.
This is your job now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
This is clever.
No, I think a lot of TalkSport listeners would be quite envious of your lifestyle. Yeah.
Well, if they want to come with me.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, why not? This really sounds like a plea for help.
But what's your sort of is TikTok or Instagram? Where's the sort of the best place that you are?
Instagram is at Rob Adcock, so ROBADCOCK. And then when I set up my TikTok, I didn't realise it was going to be my main source of income. So I didn't necessarily think too much about the name, and I just went with Rob Did a TikTok. If I thought then it would come on to be
quite a
my
big
lifestyle
thing.
choice, probably wouldn't have gone with Rob Did a TikTok, but at the time it felt like the right
that's
decision.
what it is.
Yeah,
not changing
we're stuck in it now.
Rob Did a TikTok or at Rob Adcock on Instagram. Oh well, look, I mean, we sat there going, can we get 20 minutes out of the price of flights?
No, but it's
the most fascinating bit of the programme.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming in, Rob.
Thank you.
Rob Adcock there, travel journalist. Let's go to Old Trafford. Sam Allard watching England, stuttering a little bit. Andy next to me, Sam, as you can expect and hear, getting frustrated with England, giving some wickets away. But Ben Stokes and Joe Root steadying the ship.
Yeah, and England are into the lead. 368 for 4, so leading now by 10 runs. India didn't pick up a wicket in the morning session. They picked up 2 in the afternoon. Washington Sundar getting poked for 71, and then Harry Brook for 3. Harry Brook walking past the ball. They just drifted away from the right-hander out for 3 runs. I wonder if Shubman Gill, the India captain, regrets waiting 68 overs to give Washington Sundar his first over in an innings where England have dominated. Joe Root continues to bat and bat and bat. He's 88 not out, and the captain Ben Stokes not looking at his fluent best at the moment. He has been short of a few runs. He's 7 not out. The new ball for India was available 9 overs ago, but Sundar and Jadeja are on top of England here, so it's going to be spin and more spin for the time being. England 368 for 4. They're leading by 10.
Thank you very much, Sam. It is Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs with you until 4. We'll cross to Australia. Look ahead to the second Lions test on Saturday, which is live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Although it has cost the listeners the game day warm-up for 6 weeks. It's amazing how few messages I'm getting. While those go, I'll check my Twitter, see how many people are going. Yeah. What are they doing? People seem okay with the decision of management. So we'll cross to Tony Sibeka, the MCG announcer, in just a second.
Who doesn't love the Ryder Cup, the competition that ignites and unites the greats of golf like no other? 1927 brought us the very first edition at the Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts. For the first 22 editions, when it was just British and Irish golfers versus the US, America were only beaten 3 times. But in 1979, in came Europe, and in came Seve Ballesteros, who went on to win 5 of them. Since Team Europe became a thing, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012. America hasn't won on European soil since 1993 at the Belfry. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. The PGA of America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million, but 2025 will be the first time ever that the US team will receive a fee for playing. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
10k for Coldplay.
And now Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer. We've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener, giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates. Wow, Mrs. Rushden would love this. On August the 22nd, with full hospitality, we're chucking in 10 grand spending money, tax-free. Here is how to enter, Andy.
Well, let her enter and don't under her maiden name.
Okay, yeah, well, you won't be surprised to say she hasn't taken my name.
For a chance for Mrs. Rushden to win,
yes.
Text the word win.
I'll send a WhatsApp screen grab of this.
83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. He's doing it. And you're in the draw. You can't. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. 18 plus, UK, excluding Northern Ireland. This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's are at talksport.com.
Yes, good luck everybody with that. Now the British and Irish Lions take on Australia in the second test of the series tomorrow, live on talkSPORT. Crowd of 100,000 people expected at the MCG in Melbourne, which will be a record crowd for a rugby match. talkSPORT rugby commentator Andrew McKenna, Lions reporter Alfie Reynolds have been taking a look around the G for us ahead of the match.
And in 24 hours' time, the Wallabies and the Lions will be playing the second test right here where we're stood at the MCG. I'm Alfie Reynolds, talkSPORT's rugby reporter. Andrew McKenna, our commentator, alongside me. Andrew, this place is going to be one hell of an occasion tomorrow night.
Yep, it's going to be over 90,000 people in here, making a heck of a lot of noise. It's going to be really, really interesting to see whether it can inspire the Wallabies or not.
Totally. And the Wallabies, speaking of which, Rob Valentini back into the pack, Will Skelton back into the pack, a 6-2 split on the bench. Is this going to be a Wallabies team that are better set up to deal with the physicality of the Lions?
Well, simply they've got to be. They just have to deal with it better. The other factor that's going to come into play, it's going to be wet tomorrow night, due to be rainy during the game. That will bring the forward packs into even more focus. If the Wallabies can't live with that power, they've got problems.
And I'm going to be pitch side here for TalkSPORT, which is an absolute privilege, but I'm going to be buying a brolly and maybe a tent. We'll see how I get on. Do you think the Lions are going to win this series 2-0 here on Saturday?
I think they will, although there is a part of me that wants to go to the series to be a decider in Sydney, but I think they will have enough to beat them, yes.
Well, let's see what happens here in Melbourne. An unbelievable venue. Are we going to get a game to match it? The Lions are 1-0 up. The Wallabies are fighting for their lives. All of the action on TalkSPORT from 10 a.m. on Saturday. Kickoff is at 11.
Alfie Reynolds there, and Andrew McKenna.
I think Australia, going to. The second half, they were the better team last week, and so I'm not a rugby expert, but I think they'll carry that forward, and they've got some players back. It won't be easy.
Let's talk to Tony Shebeki, the voice of the G, announcer at the MCG. Tony, how are you?
Max, Andy, I'm excellent, thank you. And I think there would have been a CEO and an HR manager in America that would have loved to have had that private box of Coldplay. Might have been a better thing for them.
Let's see what we can do. If we can split it with my wife, you have half the tickets, I have half the tickets, we'll be absolutely fine. We heard there, Tony, that it's going to rain. I live in Melbourne most of the time, Tony, and I know when it rains there. So I don't know how wet it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, well, they're talking something around about 8 to 15 mil of rain tomorrow evening, so that's a fairly wet night. And the MCG is very good with water. There's no doubt there the water runs away in the drainage system quite good, but I think it's just going to make the ball really hard to work with. It'll be slippery, and it's going to be whoever handles it, I suppose, the best.
It's an amazing stadium, of course, and as you say, holds a lot of people. But it's kind of a cricket and Aussie rules stadium. It's not really set up for rugby. The fans on one side are quite a long way away, but I suppose they're going to make a lot of noise and it won't make that much difference.
Yeah, it's the same with football as well, isn't it, Andy? We've had plenty of big football matches at the MCG also, and it's a very similar shaped ground. So, the fans are a long way away, especially the fans up on level 3 up towards the back. They'd be at least 100 metres, 150 metres away from the action, but you still see it pretty well, and you can still cheer, and I'm sure 90,000 people will be making a hell of a noise tomorrow night at the G.
It's quite interesting. I wonder what the split in the crowd will be, because you will know better than me, Tony, but it's so AFL Melbourne, right? It's so obsessed with AFL that virtually no other sport really gets a look in. So I just wonder, will the G be, mostly Aussies, or do you think there'll just be a massive British and Irish Lions contingent?
Yeah, the good thing is we've got a really big expat of people over here in Melbourne, haven't we, from England and the like that have settled over the years. So they're expecting a fairly even split, is what I'm hearing, around about 45,000 Aussies and 45,000 going for the British Lions. So if that's the case, it will be a pretty loud crowd.
We read that there had been a lot of criticism of the Aussies last week. That's normal, isn't it, in Australian papers? I mean, if the teams don't do well, they normally get a bit of a coating.
Yeah, they do, and I think it was just the way Australia sort of went down last week that I think people were a little bit annoyed with. They sort of fumbled their way through the game, didn't they, and didn't really take their main opportunities, the British Lions getting up there and doing what they had to do. So if that's the same tomorrow, if they don't adjust to the conditions tomorrow early, knowing that, things won't go well for them. So that's what I think they need to improve, is just in their ball handling skills, and if they can do that, I think they'll really take it up.
As the voice of the G, Tony, what do you have a sort of a preference, like an AFL game or a rugby match or a cricket match? I presume more relaxing, but it is quite it's a long old day, that, isn't it? This one you can sort of get in an hour early, get it done, get home.
My favourite game that's ever been played at the MCG was Liverpool versus the Melbourne Victory.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, around about 10 years or so? To hear 98,000 people singing You'll Never Walk Alone was just the most amazing thing at that stadium. And, one thing that'll stick with you for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's Liverpool for you, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's absolutely huge,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Huge popularity. Yeah, and actually, it's just so interesting because we were talking about football tourism before, the difference when you actually move away from here and your sort of view of the commitment of fans who get out of bed at 3, on a Sunday morning, like repeatedly to watch their team, and how much it means to them, and how football is sort of growing in Australia, Tony, which you sort of, you sense that. I don't know how well you know, but there is a real desperation amongst people who love soccer for it to be the biggest, and they feel like that there is kind of the other codes are scared of them and try and put them down all the time. There's a kind of unsaid thing that the institutions are against football growing in Australia from the other codes.
No, you did right, Max. And look, I suppose it's also the lack of understanding that Australians have 4 other codes as well. There's a lot of things with flares and all that sort of stuff that goes on down here in Melbourne that Australian rules football fans just don't understand, and how that all happens. And I think we're starting to turn around. But, definitely AFL footy is the main code down here. There's no doubt about that.
Where's the rugby league heart? Is that Sydney?
Sydney,
yeah. That's massive.
Yeah, Sydney and Queensland, yeah.
But they're so brilliant at rugby league. They must lose players to that may one time gone into union, I'd imagine. I don't know.
It's funny you say that, though, Andy, because the Melbourne Storm have been a very prominent team in rugby league down here in Australia for a long, long time. And I think the Sydney-siders and the Queenslanders as well really hate that Melbourne has been able to produce such a really strong team for at least the last 20, 25 years.
Forgive me, how far has the AFL season gone? Is it done?
Are you really into it?
I'm not, because I'm always on air. I'm always on air when the games are on. I'm always doing a show from my shed in Northcote, so I never get to the game. I'm a Western Bulldog by family, Tony, but I don't know how well we're doing or who's going to win the.
No, the Western Bulldogs just beat the Bombers tonight, Max. They had a good win there by about 80 points in the end, so they are currently in the top 8. They're just sitting in 8th position, and Collingwood at the moment sitting on top of the AFL ladder, and having lived here, how mad Collingwood fans are. So to have them on top of the ladder, they're looking pretty good, and Brisbane also looking pretty good for back-to-back premierships as well.
They're the sort of money bags. Collingwood are the sort of money bags. No one else likes them. They've got all the money, and yes, Tony.
I can tell you. I can tell you that Snoop Dogg has just been announced as the entertainment for our grand final day for half-time.
Is that right? Really? Okay, right. So will you rub shoulders?
A Swansea shirt.
Will you be rubbing shoulders with Snoop in the green room beforehand, Tony?
Let's hope.
Let's hope. You could collaborate, couldn't you? Anyway, thanks for coming on, Tony. Thanks for staying up late for us as well. Appreciate that.
Cheers. Thanks, Tony. Brilliant.
Good on you guys. See ya.
Good stuff. Tony Shabaki there, announcer at the G. It's so interesting, like the that football is sort of the rivalry and I don't know if it's when I got there, football fans are just like, oh no, everyone hates us. So if there is any kind of like, if the two people bump into each other at a football match, then it's on the news, you know, football fans, they are the worst in the whole world. And there'll be some massive fight at NRL and no one cares, you know, because they're sort of trying to keep football down. When I got there, I thought, come on, this is just paranoia. But I think there might be something in it. Anyway, very interesting. Live commentary, of course. The British Irish Lions on tour. Second test from the MCG will be on Saturday morning instead of the game day warm-up. But, you know, it's okay. I don't mind having 5 Saturdays off. It's quite pleasant, really. Now, Andy Moles, English cricket coach, former player as well, has written an autobiography. It's a fascinating read, and he will join us to talk about it in just a second. And now all this week, talkSPORT's asking, what is the nation's second sport? We know football reigns supreme, especially here at talkSPORT, but what sport is the next best thing and why? Whether it's boxing, cricket, rugby, darts or MMA. Yeah, that's my one. Punching people in the face until they bleed. These sports need your vote. If you'd like to join the discussion, just head to the Dugout at talksport.com/dugout or via the talkSPORT app. It's been the talk of the office. We've done some talkSPORT names throwing their weight behind their favourite sports.
I did it.
Yeah, did you? I haven't done it. I've not been asked yet. I've not thrown my weight behind anything. You did that, yeah. It's a good choice. Well, that's a good game.
No, I love cricket.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to choose it. I've chosen the one I like. And here's Ade Oladipo with his.
Look, the answer simply is boxing. The answer is boxing. And the answer is boxing because of Lennox Lewis, Prince Nassim Hamed, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Carl Froch, Tony Bellew, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. These are names that my kids are going to remember.
Oh, of course.
These are names that filled out stadiums, filled out arenas. These are names that literally captivated all of British. They supersede boxing. They supersede sport. Like, these are names that it's not just sports stars. I mean, your average person walking the street knows who these people are.
Yes.
Like larger than life giants. Like growing up for me in the 90s, Prince Nassim Hamed flipping over a rope was incredible. Seeing him on adverts and billboards. I mean, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank.
I'm not here to pick up Adil Depot, and it's impossible for us to know because we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, his great-great-great-great-great-grandson will never say Carl Froch. I guarantee it.
Well, he might.
He's not saying it. There's no way of saying it.
I have to
Anyway.
say that was a lot longer than mine.
Was it?
Well, mine was quite...
What's your second favourite sport? Cricket, because it's my second favourite sport.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Anyway, head to the Dugout on talkSPORT on the app or via the website talksport.com/dugout to sign up and join the discussion. Fun prizes are given away every month, and if you join now, you'll automatically be put into the next draw. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply.
Right.
Right, let's talk to Andy Moles, who's written his autobiography called Around the World in 40 years. Spent 40 years in cricket as both a player and a coach. One of the few English players with a first-class average of over 40 to never get an England cap after retiring at 36.
Don't rub it in.
All over the world. Well, ask him about it. And has had a fascinating life as well, and he joins us to talk about it now. Andy, thanks for coming on. How are you?
It's a pleasure. I'm very well. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Pleasure, yeah.
So what inspired you to write the book, Andy?
Well, people have been friends of mine have been asking me to sort of get something down on record about my career, and I didn't really think that I didn't play Test cricket. I didn't think people would want to know the story, and to be honest, I'm quite happy sort of flying under the radar. But in the end, one of my sons said to me that for his sake, he'd like to have something down about what happened when I travelled around the world and when I played and the people who I was associated with. So I ended up getting a hold of Jeff Dean, who's the ghostwriter, and we did this project, and I'm very pleased with the way it's turned out.
Now, I was working with Frank Skinner at the time of sort of 94, 95, and he was a big Warwickshire fan. So I'm very aware of what a great era it was for the club. It was the treble in 94, all under Dermot Reeve, which is a real character. So that must have been great to be part of that.
Yeah, I was very lucky to have to be associated with the club in the time that we had so many good players. The two overseas players that helped us at that stage was Alan Donald and Brian Lara, and at that stage there wasn't two batter or a bowler better than those two in world cricket. And we had a group of players that were moulded under Dermot and Bob Warmer, of course, who was our coach. And we developed a dressing room environment that everyone felt safe. Everybody was encouraged to take the game to the opposition, and there was a very, very positive environment.
It's so interesting when you talk to players like you, absolute elite players, who then stand next to Brian Lara. I remember interviewing like Willie Sagnol, who played right back for France in the 2006 World Cup final. I'm just talking about Zidane saying, I was a brilliant footballer, but it was a different game for him. Like when you're watching Lara, when you're like at the crease with Lara, are you just watching this guy thinking, how is he doing this?
Well, he was just different talent to the rest of us. And I had a really good conversation with Tim Curtis. Do you remember Tim Curtis opened the batting for Worcester? And we were talking together, and I said to him, what was it like batting with Graham Hick, who was scoring runs, for fun, quickly, and he was asking me what it was like with Lara, and we came and we discovered that we needed to realise you let them play at their rate and realise that the score runs much quicker than you as their natural ability is better. The important thing is you don't get dragged into copying them or following their run rate, because then you get loose and you get out yourself. So the hardest thing, or what we realise is that you let Brian get on with his game and bat it. The only thing you got to realise is that after ball 5, very often it's a single coming up because he wants to keep the strike.
He writes a nice tribute to you in the book, and which is good. But you didn't actually play in the game, did you, where he got the 501? I was thinking, you must have been at the other end, but you were coming back from injury at the time.
That's right. At the start of the season, the very start of the season, we were in Zimbabwe when we signed him. And Paul Smith, who was a very attacking all-rounder, was at the crease with me. And he drove one straight back down the wicket and hit me on my forearm and broke my arm.
Oh.
But then once I got back and just about getting over that, we're now back in England, a month later, my arm's getting ready, we're going physio. Then unfortunately I got appendicitis. So I missed the start of the season with pen. Of course, Brian started as the record shows, he scored run after run, 100 after 100, and I was frustrated sitting on the side. But when I eventually got fit to play, Bob and Dermot said to me, because I've been opening for years for Warwickshire at that stage, they said, just get out there and prove your fitness, get a score, and we'll have you back in the team. So my first game back was at Northampton against Northampton Seconds. And David Capel was playing for Northampton in that match against me. And I got 130 first time out. So when I come off the field, I said to the second team coach, who was Neil Abley, Neil, grab hold of, let them know back at Edgbaston that I'm ready. I got 130. I think I played well. He said, yeah, no problem, Molly. He said, but nobody's talking about you today. I said, Brian's just scored 501.
Now, look, your coaching career took you all over the world. In South Africa, Kenya, New Zealand. You got them to the ICC Champions Trophy final in 2010. But your last major appointment was director of cricket for Afghanistan. And there for nearly 6 years. And that must have been fascinating.
Yeah, it's a great story, the Afghani cricket story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. For me, part of my experience is experience different cultures. That's what I really enjoyed, and obviously going to Afghanistan. The very first time I went there, I turned up at. I flew from Cape Town to Dubai, went to the boarding gate in Dubai, and down one side of the gate was all the Afghans sitting, waiting to get on the plane in sort of traditional dress, long flowing robes and the hats that they wear. And on the other side were all the American and British soldiers or agents who were going out there to do private service security, all brush cuts and everything else. It was almost like apartheid. One was on one side, one was on the other side. And I thought, blimey, what have I let myself in for here? It was so totally different. And then when I arrived, it was, I just didn't know what to expect. But it was a great experience, and there was a few circumstances that happened security-wise that were a bit hair-raising. One of those being I was coaching one of the teams in their T20 competition, which is actually going on right now. But about 7-8 years ago, it was going on, and Adam Hollyoake was coaching the other team, and we heard this big boom whilst the game was going on. And then fractions of seconds later, you felt a wave go through your body, and it was a blast wave.
Wow.
A bomber had blown himself up at the gates of the ground.
Good Lord.
Crikey.
You've also had to overcome an amputation, haven't you? Suffering MRSA. So that's been another thing that challenged in your life.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say, my glass is always half full. I refuse to let it get me down. But what happened is I got a cut on the side of my toe whilst I was like a blister. I was either in Afghanistan or in India, because I was coaching the team at that stage. And because Klusner was unavailable to coach him for a couple of weeks, so I stepped in from director of cricket. And whilst I had this blister, it got infected, but nowhere near as bad as we thought. And the team doctor was dressing it every day. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, he said, because I was then, when Lance turned up to coach the team, I then went back to Cape Town where I was living. And the team doctor said, you best just go and see your doctor when you get back. He said, I don't like the look of it. It's not as it should be. And of course, I got back to Cape Town, went to see my doctor, who took a swab, sent it off to the lab. And I got a phone call in the afternoon saying, get yourself down to the hospital. We need antibiotics intravenously to start straight away, which they put on for 8 days. And when I came out, they said, look, unfortunately, we haven't been able to save your toe. Your toe's dying. So we're going to amputate your toe. And hopefully that'll be fine. At this stage, nobody said anything about MRSA bug, just that it was infected. Anyway, they amputated the toe, and then 2 days later, I woke up in the night at home. Temperature, my leg is red, swollen. So I went back to the hospital, and that's when they said, unfortunately, you got a flesh-eating bug, which the antibiotics don't touch it. It says we can't. It's just resistant to everything we've got. It's like a superbug. So that had eaten into the bones of my foot, and they said the only way we can stop, otherwise it's going to go through your body. We have to get ahead of it. So they amputated my leg at shin level, just below the knee.
God, and when you're in the room and the doctors are saying that, is it quite a surreal conversation?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it must be so strange.
Yeah, the doctor sort of put me. He was excellent. This fellow the specialist who looked after me, and he'd sort of primed me. This might happen for 2 or 3 days, but still, when he actually said it, I just think, oh no, straight away. What about my career? I can't. And since I've had it, I've had no real top coaching jobs because, unfortunately, apparently one-legged coaches are not a thing that people want. But he said to me, this is the exact truth, is he came to me about 6:30 in the morning, and he came and looked at me. He says, Andy, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but what I told you a couple of days ago, we're at that point. I'm going to have to advise that we amputate your leg just below the knee. And I said to him, well, Doc, I wouldn't expect you to tell me how to play forward defensive. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. When can you do it? And he said, we can do it at 11:30 this morning. I said, all right, let's go. And funnily enough, can you believe it was April the 1st, 5 years, April the 1st.
Well, look, it's a fascinating story, Andy.
Yeah,
and
a great career.
Yeah, a great career. And we wish you all the luck with the book, Around the World in 40 Years, Andy Moles with Jeffrey Dean. Thanks so much for coming, Andy. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, guys.
Good stuff there. It is talkSPORT, Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs with you until 4.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. The important context here is that over the last 3 years, the club has lost over 300 million quid. And from day dot, Ratcliffe committed to fixing this, which of course is the right thing for the club. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way Sir Jim Ratcliffe, accompanied by Sir Dave Brailsford, went about it. For example, talkSPORT understands their lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it gets a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered essential. The reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. And such is the grip Ratcliffe has on spending, he reportedly scrapped company credit cards, meaning some staff racking up hundreds of pounds worth of expenses and spending weeks out of pocket waiting to be reimbursed. But it's not just the stingy decisions around the amount of tea bags in the cafeteria. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge that United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Because while all this has been going on, Casemiro's getting paid 350 grand a week and the club forked out 14 million quid getting rid of Eric Ten Hag and Dan Ashworth. But United fans' rage doesn't just stop here at the cuts. Ratcliffe's unpopular decision to introduce a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, certainly did not go down well. For fans, it feels like the very foundation of the club's support is being attacked for the sake of making marginal financial gains. But Ratcliffe has backed it, saying if you shy away from difficult decisions, then nothing is going to change. And time will tell whether these measures will improve operations at the club and help drag standards up on the pitch. But one thing's for sure, his first year wasn't exactly a charm offensive, and there's still a long way to go for United to be back to where many say they belong.
Rip my sweater.
Do that. Put your hand to your ear like this. The news that Hulk Hogan has died at the age of 71. Let's bring in Alex McCarthy, wrestling broadcast. Hey, Alex, you okay?
How are we doing, gents?
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, he has an interesting life, Hulk Hogan. There's lots of stuff that is pretty unsavoury, and you know, issues with racism as well. But in terms, I remember being, you know, I was obsessed with wrestling, and it's kind of the first time that really, I think in the UK, you saw showbiz and sport in inverted commas sort of next to it. Maybe that's an insult to say in inverted commas to you, Alex, but what Hulk Hogan and that whole era, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, it was an incredible time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Hulk Hogan has undisputably a complicated legacy, we could call it, in professional wrestling. But in terms of what he achieved, you know, let's say inside the ropes, and what he did for WWE, he's undoubtedly on the Mount Rushmore. There isn't a WWE we see today without Hulk Hogan. And I know, you know, some people will find that difficult to kind of say, and I can appreciate that for sure with all that comes along with Hulk. But, you know, he headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias. He was a beacon of what led the company to become not just a regional promotion in New York, but national and then international. He really is the linchpin for all of that. So, you know, even if you went on to love The Rock and Stone Cold or Bret Hart or any of those, you know, the spotlight they got arguably derived from the work that Hulk Hogan did.
We interviewed him, Paul and I, about 15 years ago, and the thing that struck us, and then you realise what professional wrestling is, how hard it is. He could hardly walk. He'd taken so much punishment. And people don't realise that. They think it's all scripted and it's an act and it's show business. But physically, it's demanding and takes a toll.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think wrestlers, they typically they don't like the F word, we'll call it, fake, because although it is scripted and it's a show, and, you know, it's the same as if you would enjoy Game of Thrones, right? It's the same kind of entertainment, but just from a more physical standpoint. But the risks they take and the bumps they take, they do add up, right? And that there's nothing fake, if you want to use that word, about falling down. thousands of times, and there's only a certain amount of ways you can take some of those falls. So it does add up. You look at someone like Kurt Angle, who is an Olympic gold medalist, also had a WWE career. He can barely walk these days, right? And you think all of that comes from performing for people in a wrestling ring, which shouldn't be the case if it's not real. But you can see the detriments it has, and unfortunately, a lot of the wrestlers do die before their time.
What was it about him then that makes him the linchpin? Why? Was it a wrestling ability thing? Was it his charisma? What was the thing that made Hulk Hogan the kind of centerpiece of all of this?
Yeah, charisma for sure. You nailed it there, Max. He was a larger-than-life character, as Andy just mentioned. And he obviously had that very sort of striking physique, the 24-inch pythons, the huge arms and the flowing blonde hair. He was just the ultimate babyface at that time. Now, would somebody telling you to, take your vitamins, say your prayers, would that wash today? Probably not. But in the 80s, the people were gobbling that up, and there were sellouts. And, as far as business goes, we're talking money drawn, people paying to come and see somebody. Hulk Hogan revolutionized the business in that standpoint, and of course he packed out stadiums that we'd never seen before in professional wrestling for WrestleMania. We've got, I think this year is the 41st WrestleMania that'll be coming next April. And again, you think those first ones all depended on the success of Hulk Hogan. There's no more tangible way you can say someone is successful than they put butts in seats and people keep coming back for more and more. He sold the merch, and again, it is that cocktail of things you just said. He had the look and he had the charisma. There's been better wrestlers than Hulk Hogan. He'd probably be the first to say that himself. But as far as a worker goes and memorable moments, he's got all of that.
And you need acting skills as well as physical, don't you? Because there's a lot of the sort of part of it is the sketches around it and the fake animosity to your opponent and all this sort of thing. But that's another skill, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes they don't like each other. I can promise you that. But for the most part, of course, it's working together and crafting a story that people can get invested in. And Hulk Hogan had plenty of those, like a national American hero against Sergeant Slaughter, and what he drew against The Rock in 2002, that was like a legend versus legend in the making at the time. He had the greatest heel turn in history. For those that are unaware of what heel turn is, that means you turn from good to bad guy. And Hulk Hogan was the ultimate good guy. And then he went to WCW and they formed NWO, which was a group.
Oh,
we lost Alex.
Has gone, yeah, I think.
Oh, what a shame.
It was right in the middle.
It was just so nostalgic for me. Like I was saying, I remember the time when, the Royal Rumble, and genuinely being, so for people who don't know what the Royal Rumble is, it's 30 wrestlers and a new one comes in every 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and the countdown going down, and just thinking, who will it be? The British Bulldog? Will it be Rowdy Roddy Piper? I think I put it on at school. At school, it was terrible with judo mats and a rope, and we all had different outfits, and you'd get your Royal Rumble. But yeah, it had. I think it is when you think about it so iconically the first time that, because when you look at the halftime show at the Club World Cup, and we all go, we hate this. I don't want 25 and a half time in Coldplay and whoever. But sort of showbiz coming into sport.
I quite liked it. We were 3-0 up.
Of course you did. You suddenly liked the whole tournament, didn't you?
Yeah,
You're like, I love you. Can I shock you? I love you, Gianni. I think everything you're doing for football is great. But I don't know. There's something about the show business of that whole thing, which could just totally carry you. But yeah, as he says, completely flawed. Did some pretty bad things. But his legacy in terms of wrestling, which I think a lot of listeners will think is just a ridiculous thing, but some people absolutely love it.
It's got a massive following. It's no question.
Anyway, Todd Macklin will join us in just a second, as he always does on a Friday, to get what's happening on the other side of the pond. It's Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs with you till 4. heard this music for ages, the Todd Macklin theme. I was just saying to Andy, I've come in just to do this show. It's still good, Andy.
Oh, thanks very much.
Good.
Yeah, no,
still
it's
good.
got a little variety.
Seal of approval for Hawksby and Jacobs.
Sweet,
May you have another year's contract, all of you. It is Max Rushden and Andy Jacobs here until 4. A Bob Bubka Clips special shortly. First of all, let's cross to Todd Macklin. How are you, Todd? Always good to chat.
Hey, Max. Long time. How you been?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks very much. Andy wants to talk about umpires in baseball.
It's a bit of it's only because my Instagram algorithm just keeps sending me this umpire's missed 26 calls in one game, and this sort of thing. You think this is really, they're just asking to be replaced. And what I can't stand, Todd, is when the batter turns around and just goes, well, what was that? They throw him out of the game. And it's terrible, terrible calls. They are going to get replaced, aren't they?
They are going to get replaced. It's just a matter of time and when. So we've got replay for basically everything in baseball except balls and strikes, right? Which you could argue is as important as anything. So they tested out the robot umpires with respect to a challenge system. So each team gets a certain amount of challenges and they can challenge a ball or strike. And there's only 3 people that can challenge: the pitcher, the catcher, or the hitter. They're the only people that can challenge. So they did it in spring training. It's not in for the regular season this year, and they brought it back for the All-Star game. They had 6 challenges, and 5 of the challenges were reversed. So saying the umpire got it wrong 5 out of those 6 times that they challenged. So now, as I said, it's just a question of when. There's an 11-person committee that needs to vote on whether it starts next season or whether it starts after that. But Andy, rest assured, the robot umpires are coming for balls and strikes.
It is hard. I mean, to be fair to an umpire, you're looking at an imaginary sort of rectangle, isn't it? It's not really a square. It's more of a rectangle. And it could be on the edge of that. And, that it's 95 miles an hour. That is quite a difficult thing to call. It's very much an opinion, isn't it?
I agree with you 100%. It is not a fault. Like, I don't know of any human that can consistently get the right calls. And you talk about 95. I mean, a lot of pitchers are throwing in the hundreds now. Like, years ago, there was a pitcher named Nolan Ryan that would break the 100-mile-an-hour mark for pitchers, and he'd do it maybe 1 or 2 pitches. It's just now that more pitchers are hitting that 100. So there are more 100-mile-an-hour pitches than not. And it's just, it's incapable to be judged by a human eye, and that's why we need the technology.
Will the robots look like Johnny Five from Short Circuit, or will they look like sort of portly, middle-aged American men like that?
They've got to make them look like the umpires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that your algorithm is showing you that. My algorithm shows how to help a constipated six-month-old pass a solid stool. But that's a different story.
I don't know how it happened.
A couple of stories from the world of golf, Todd. Where do you want to start? Bryson DeChambeau chirping in Rory McIlroy's ear at the Happy Gilmore 2 premiere. What's
There's a
going
lot of
on?
them in it, though, aren't they? With cameos.
Yeah, listen, there's so many golfers in Happy Gilmore 2, which, listen, I'm not connected to it, but shameless plug, it comes out today on Netflix, Happy Gilmore 2. I'll be watching tonight at some point. Listen, it's just a fun movie, especially, one of the, you're talking about Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore, right? 2 of the kind of best golf movies. And it's funny, right? DeChambeau and Rory are connected, right? The U.S. Open and the Masters, and DeChambeau saying Rory didn't talk to him at the Masters, and Rory, rightfully so, says, hey, I'm trying to win the Masters. I'm not trying to be your friend. But listen, DeChambeau's at the premiere of Happy Gilmore, so he's playing it up. My guess is he's not going to be trash talking like people imagine at the Ryder Cup, right? It's still golf. There's still a level of, hey, respect in that. Listen, the crowd's going to be a bigger deal of trash talking, right, with the event in the U.S. than the players among themselves.
And now another person who pops up on my algorithm is John Daly again. Well, I mean, he's such a character. I mean, he's ridiculous, isn't he? He sort of still can drive the ball further than anybody else, but he'll approach it like he's got a beer in one hand, a cigarette on, and he sort of puts them down and he drives it about 400 yards. It's incredible.
He is. And so one of the things that he would do every year is during the Masters, he would go to Augusta, Georgia, not to be a part of the official Masters celebrations, but there's a Hooters restaurant in Augusta, Georgia. He would pull his RV, his recreational vehicle, up there for the 3 or 4 days, sign autographs, sign everything, take pictures or whatever. But word is that Hooters restaurant is closing down, like a lot of Hooters restaurants are in the U.S. So I guess it's open now for John Daly to find a new residence in Augusta, Georgia, because I would still think he wants to go back and make a lot of money, which he does in the past.
Good luck to him saving that Hooters. Now, the Cleveland Browns, Todd. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan because when I was 6, an American person who presumably my parents knew arrived at our house in Cambridge and gave me a Cleveland Browns hat and a beanie. But they've revealed their new.
Is there an American Air
helmet.
Force base near there? Isn't there?
I don't know anything about them. I know they've never been good. They had Bernie Kosar, who could only throw it 20 yards, and then maybe Vinny Testaverde was slightly better. But that's sort of where my knowledge ends. But tell us about the big reveal for their new helmet.
Yeah, I guess they did on the lake that is right beside Cleveland. They had a big inflatable helmet, right, to unveil their new helmet, and someone was taking pictures right there. If you're watching online, you can see it. And the person fell into the water.
yes.
Now, the big question was, hey, was this staged or not staged? Because as Max said, Cleveland's got a history of misery and things going wrong. So, there was a question of, hey, this is just another Cleveland Browns moment. Well, I guess they did some digging. I guess the person is an influencer that was taking the pictures.
Right.
So there is some thought and he put it on all his social media channels. So it is some thought that, hey, this was staged, this guy falling in.
He's a good actor then, because he does look like he's falling in rather than throwing himself in. But
Todd, are they the only American football team that have never been good? Like, it seems, because of the draft system, it seems, when I was young, the Patriots were bad and the Packers were bad or whatever, and then they become good, and then they're the only team that just remain terrible.
Yeah, and I think that, Max, I think you're probably right, and I think the key word is terrible. Other teams have kind of, like the Buffalo Bills have not been able to break out and win a Super Bowl, but they got the 4 straight Super Bowls. Cleveland, as you say, is just terrible. And yeah, it does feel like they're in a league of their own.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? It's good. It's nice, a badge of honour to spot another terrible team just in that part of the world. Now, talk to us about the MLS All-Star game. It's quite interesting because we don't have All-Star games here. We don't really understand their importance or not. But Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba facing suspension for not bothering to turn up for this.
Yeah, so they had their All-Star game, I think it was on Tuesday. So it's the MLS All-Stars against a collection of All-Stars from the Mexican League. And Messi, who was injured last year, so didn't play in the All-Star game, the two of them missed the game, even though they played in the game, their league game, the game previous. So the thought is, listen, they're not really hurt. They should be at the game. And because they didn't, Miami plays this Saturday against Cincinnati. I haven't heard yet. I haven't seen a decision yet on whether they'll be suspended for the game Saturday for missing the All-Star game. The MLS All-Stars won anyway, so they didn't need them, and they still won. And now the only question is there a suspension?
All right. Oh, well, good stuff, Todd. Lovely to chat, as always. So thanks for coming on, my friend.
See you guys.
Good stuff, Todd Macklin there. Is on Friday, as he is every week. We'll do a Bob Bubka Clips of the Week special in a second. We can go back to Old Trafford. Sam Allard, how Joe Root clicking towards being the second highest run scorer in Test cricket history, which is quite extraordinary. I just wonder if you don't... It's like when you sort of think of greats, because when you witness it, when it's happening, you perhaps don't appreciate kind of the ability of someone, because you don't necessarily put them on that table with Sachin and Bradman, etc. But we should.
Yeah, we should. I mean, 38 Test match 100 for Joe Root today. He's already today in this innings gone above Dravid and Callis into third place, and if he can add 5 more runs, he goes above Ricky Ponting into second place. I've been all Joe Root still on 115, Ben Stokes on 32, and I've been doing some mathematics throughout the day, and by my calculations, if Joe Root can carry on batting along the same speed which he is, which is averaging 50 in Test match cricket, with the amount of Test matches England have coming up, he can go above Sachin Tendulkar in the summer of 2027, which would be in 2 years' time. So, you know, Joe Root is showing absolutely no signs whatsoever of slowing down in his career. If anything, he's getting better and better and is being more consistent as he's getting older. So he's going to go above Ricky Ponting in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And I think in a couple of years' time, if he can stay fit and stay healthy, he will finish his career as leading run scorer in Test match cricket, which would be absolutely remarkable. But England, 424 for 4. Root has 116, Stokes has 32, and the lead now is 66 runs.
Yeah, important innings for Ben Stokes. He's got a lot of starts in this series.
Lots
30s,
of
40s, and he hasn't been able to go on. So it'd be nice to see him do that today, and then break free. That thing where he sort of builds himself up for about 40 or 50 and then
cuts loose.
Yeah.
Like you and the show and 3:30, isn't it?
It's been 2 years since he last scored a Test match 100, so he's definitely been short of runs over the last couple of years, and it's actually been this series, he's been bowling really well. I mean, he's been England's best bowler in this series, which is great to see him fit again, healthy again, being able to bowl long spells. BF is sure he's got lots of 20s and 30s in this series. He looks good and solid for his 32. BF is sure, Andy, he's got to try and start converting some of these starts now into big scores for England, but he's not out on 32, and hopefully today is where he can go and get a big one.
It's actually mad you just sort of say he's been our best bowler. You know, that is such good news, and I don't think anyone expected it.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's bowled really, really well this series. He's bowled consistently. He's picked up big wickets as well, which I think is important, taking important wickets in important moments, and just the fact that he's been able to bowl long spells, fit, healthy. All the best teams need an all-rounder in their team, and we've got one, and we've got one of the best. So if we've got any ambitions of going to Australia, it goes without saying that we need a fit and firing Ben Stokes to score runs lower down the order and to be that fifth bowling option.
Lovely stuff, Sam. Have fun. Sam Allard's got a good old gig there, hasn't he? Just
Sky have got Ricky Ponting on deliberately, and
that's good, isn't it?
He's approaching.
Keep him there.
Yeah,
Keep him there. You are listening to Rushden Jacobs on talkSPORT. Max in football today in partnership with Toolstation. Delivery in as little as 30 minutes with Fast Track. Next stop, Toolstation. We'll do a Bob Bubka Clips of the Week special next.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. Manchester United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. He'd averaged almost a goal every 2 games for Arsenal, but in his 45 matches for United, he only bagged 5. Next up, Radamel Falcao, dubbed El Tigre, or the Tiger. But at Old Trafford, he was a little more pussycat, to be honest. All the Colombian managed in 29 games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone worse for Jadon Sancho at United, with just 12 goals in 83 games. And it all ended after that very public spat with then-manager Erik ten Hag. Next, Ten Hag probably thought he was wise in sticking to what he knew when he brought in Antony from former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian has really not been able to hack it in the Prem. The curse of the famous number 7 shirt has also had its share of victims. As well as the aforementioned Sanchez, Memphis Depay found he couldn't follow in the footsteps of Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and Best. He netted just 7 in 53 appearances. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the title for over a decade, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Of the week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT clips of the week.
Yeah, time now for the clips of the week, thanks to Toolstation. Obviously, when one of Paul or Andy isn't here, they don't do the regular clips. We do a special. And obviously, it's incredibly sad news to hear about the passing of Bob Bubka. And I thought you and Paul especially did a wonderful tribute to him. And it was fascinating to hear how he became a part of talkSPORT.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, so many people, like someone like me who'd chatted to him so many times but never met him and just knew this iconic voice that came on, and I think because his voice was so warm and so incredible, right? We all hope we have a nice broadcasting voice, but this is something else.
Oh no, he was a lovely man, and I think one of the reasons why all the presenters loved him so much is he worked across all the shows. Very few people do that, because he'd come on breakfast and be, it might be in the middle of the night for him, but he'd still do a bit with Alan, and then golf tournaments last a long time, the whole day, so he'd be into each show. So I think every presenter got to work with him and got to really love him.
Yeah, and you were saying that a lot of people have said, "Oh, we'd love a Bob," because we wanted, is it the right time to do a special for Bob because it's done with love, and we sort of feel that he would love to hear these clips. But a lot of people have asked for a Bob special. So here, with love for the great man, is a Bob Bubka Clips of the Week special. Do you want to start?
I will. And people thought that Rob Brydon started Small Man in a Box, but it was actually Bob Bubka.
And let's head to Royal Leatherman St Anne's, day 1 of the Open. Bob Bubka.
All right, Adrian. All right, Adrian.
Great, isn't it? Here's Bob giving us a little too much information.
The English got a pretty good chance of coming away with a victory here in Los Angeles. By the way, I got wind.
Well, maybe he was right to warn us.
Meanwhile, Adam Scott, what an outwood 9, shot 5 under par 30, and he's at 5 under par. That ties him with Jim Furyk, the clubhouse leader, at 5 under par.
That's a brilliant one, isn't it?
I'd love to play that again. That's so good, isn't it? Anyway, line that up at the end, if you would, for me. Everyone loves doing a Bob Bubka impression, but not many people know the person that did it best, the former England spinner, now chief executive of Worcestershire, Ashley Giles.
Director of Cricket Ashley Giles told This Morning's Sports Breakfast it was an unfortunate incident.
It wouldn't surprise me, Danny, if he's out the rest of the year and then he tries to come back.
That's good, isn't it? It's really good, isn't it? It's nothing more fun than I don't remember chatting to Bob once and then saying, do you know, if you want to make yourself happy, right, if you're just not feeling great, wherever you are, just do a Bob, just go, and Justin Rose on the 15th. It just makes you feel good.
It's true. And Bob himself, of course, was actually a pretty good impressionist. He's Jeffrey Boycott. He's spot on.
So I'm in the tent, and in comes this guy, chest out about 4 feet, and says, "Hi, I'm Jeffrey Boycott."
Just like that, apparently.
Exactly. The corridor of uncertainty. Sticking with impressions, here is Bob and Alan Brazil doing their best Beavis and Butthead.
And Bob was, of course, one of the greatest interviewers to ever do it, but it wasn't always a memorable interaction.
Watch this. I'm going to say hello to John Paramore. We're talking live on talkSPORT. The course in good shape, John? Fantastic. There he is. Head of rules for the Ryder Cup, John Paramore. Told you on talkSPORT.
It's not Frost Nixon.
I couldn't hear anything, but never
it's
mind.
Not Parky, is it? Now, here is the great man giving a lot of information about the posterior of Adam Scott.
The leader is Adam Scott, playing some brilliant golf. He's 2 under on today's round. He's also on that backside. He has 3 more holes on his backside.
Well, that's 2 more than most people, let's be honest. Anyway, have you ever wondered what Bob's favourite horror movie is?
Ian Poltergeist.
Yeah,
Ian Poltergeist.
Ian Poltergeist would be a great movie, wouldn't it? In those big trousers coming out in big Union Jack trousers. We'll take your golf horror movies, 8, 10 to 9. Okay, then. This clip is filed under Needs No Introduction.
If I had to put my life on who's probably going to win here, I probably would go with Koepka. But you and I have been sailing that McIlroy ship, so if I'm going to go down on McIlroy, you're coming with me.
Well, fair enough.
Don't disagree with Bob. That's what you want to do, Bob?
Let's move on.
Here we go.
Here's Bob staying very measured at the news that Sandy Lyle has breached the St Andrews dress code.
Just a few minutes ago, somebody showed up at the driving range to begin their warm-up for a practice round, and it was Sandy Lyle, and he's wearing a pair of suspenders.
Nice. They look great.
I think he would. Do you remember those years when Ernie Els had that incredibly blocked nose?
This is for bogey, a big putt for Ernie Els. And it gets there. That is a man-sized bogey.
Man-sized bogey.
He's a man-sized tissue for it as well. Here's the voice of golf now, channeling his inner Craig David.
Yeah, he didn't look good. He only played 9 holes practice on Monday, 9 holes on Tuesday, no golf on Wednesday.
Get the idea.
Yeah, you know what's coming next. Here it is.
9 holes practice on Monday, 9 holes on Tuesday, no golf on Wednesday.
Very nice. Can we have the burp one again, Andy?
Go on.
Here it is.
Meanwhile, Adam Scott, what an outward 9. Shot 5 under par 30, and he's at 5 under par. That ties him with Jim Furyk, the clubhouse leader, at 5 under par.
It's good of you to do that. What a great broadcast. What a lovely man
really
as well.
Good. Anyway, that was Clips of the Week, thanks to Tool Station.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Our friendly colleagues are right behind you at over 580 stations. Next stop, Toolstation.
We're going back to Sam Ellard.
We should do, I think, a bit of a milestone, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5 or so minutes to go, Joe Root got to 120 runs, and it is a milestone because now there's only one batsman in the history of Test match cricket who's got more runs than Joe Root. That is Sachin Tendulkar. Joe Root, earlier on in the innings, went past Kailash and Dravid, and as he got to 120, he's just gone past Ricky Ponting. So he's got 13,379 Test match runs, and again, only one person now is above him in the in that order. He's still about 2,500 2,000 runs away from Sachin Tendulkar, which is a lot of runs, but he's 34 years of age. He's averaging 51 in Test match cricket. It shows no signs of slowing down. So I think whilst the moment is a long way away, with England playing about 10 Test matches a year, I think Joe Root finishes his career top of the pile. But Joe Root has 120, second highest run scorer in the history of Test match cricket. Stokes has 36. This partnership worth 83 runs, and England are absolutely cruising at Old Trafford. To be honest with you boys, this has been a little bit pathetic, I should say, from India. I think they felt a little bit sorry for themselves, rolling up to Old Trafford 2-1 down, probably thinking they should be ahead. Their heads dropped way too early yesterday, and while England are playing fantastically, and Joe Root we know is a world-class batsman, they made this a little bit too easy for England throughout the course of this innings. It's 4-3-2 for 4, and the lead is 74 runs.
Yeah, I think exactly. Like, I don't know. It's Joe Root, and you can come in as well, Sam. It's an extraordinary achievement, and we're witnessing that. And I think I've just said it before, but like, you just sort of don't realise as it's happening that you're watching someone who's such a great touch player. His timing is amazing. You know, he just seems almost like it almost feels effortless, I think, when you watch him.
Yeah, brilliant player, no question about it. Absolutely, he's so consistent as well.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know, maybe because we're just so used to watching Joe Root scoring hundreds for so long, we almost just sort of take it for granted. But I think when you sit here and over the last sort of couple of hours, he's gone past Ponting, Callis and Dravid, you almost sort of think, wow, crikey, that's seriously impressive. I mean, some people sort of use the, you know, he's never scored 100 in Australia thing against him, but you know, if he plays anywhere near like he's playing at the moment in this summer in Australia in a few months' time, I think he'll get that sort of scratch off his back and get to a Test match 100 in Australia. But yeah, we are well and truly witnessing greatness. He's England's greatest player, in my opinion, by a long way. And yeah, I think the stats now are showing just how great Joe Root really is.
Great if he gets the MCG. 2,500 not out just to get the record.
Yeah, or maybe some people say that, you know, did you see the Van Mulder not go past Brian Lara's score out of respect?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Joe Root might just retire one run short of Sachin out of respect? I don't think he will.
Not.
I hope not, Andy. But yeah, there you go. Van Mulder might want him to.
Interestingly, my first ever century, and I've only got 2 in my career.
Wow,
very impressive.
101. I retired on 101. First for Keble College cricket team, and in the at tea, the opposition scorer said, "I've just counted 91." And I was like, that's quite a cocky time to retire. I've just had enough of this. Only I was like, I'm 91, and my score had added it up wrong. Anyway.
What sort of bat were you, Max? Were you a Baz ball, or were you an old school type of Test
by
match
the
batsman?
time I got my second 100, there were 9 mid-ons and long-ons, if you want to know where the arc is. It's over Cow Corner. Close your eyes and hit it there. Anyway, thank you, Sam.
Thank you,
Sam
guys.
Mellard there out at Old Trafford. Joe Root now the second highest run scorer in Test history. We will cross to Lucy Ward, who's out in Switzerland in just a second, doing co-comms for ITV, isn't she? For the Euros final. We'll chat about that and about England's chance against Spain as well.
Italy scores a goal. Like, that's their mentality. They just build up a wall and they're very dangerous in the counter-attack.
Anjumang is there! Can she put it in? She does! England teenage sensation! The comeback queen have done it!
19 years old, the composure in that moment, to not just snap at it.
To put England in the final. Kelly! Save! Kelly there again! It's in! England 2, Italy 1. This is just extraordinary.
You know the phrase, back from the brink. These Lionesses are reinventing that word.
Serena Wiedmann's team are through to the Euro 2025 final.
Yeah, you can hear it live on. Yeah, what's it? Bum, bum, bum. It was a time of war. The time of the final of the Euros. Yeah, it's on talkSPORT. 5 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, England versus Spain. Striker Alicia Russo's been speaking to talkSPORT ahead of that game. Asked about meeting the same team they were beaten by in the World Cup final 2 years ago.
The journeys for both of us to get here were really tough. I mean, we started playing France, Holland, Wales, and then obviously we've had to play Sweden and Italy, and they were all so different and so tough. So I think we had to be so ready in order to make it to the final and prepared. And yeah, like you've seen, we've won in so many different ways this tournament, and I think that's shown a lot of resilience about us, and same with Spain. They've had to play some tough teams, and obviously Germany are a top side who have been through a lot this tournament as well. So I think it could have gone anyway for all of us. But yeah, it's great to be in the final and playing against a team like Spain.
Obviously, I'll be listening to talkSPORT as you will, but some people seem to like watching these games on television. And you have a choice, the BBC and ITV, both good. And Lucy Ward will be doing co-coms alongside Seb Hutchinson for ITV. She joins us now. Hey, Lucy, you okay?
Yeah, hi Max, hi Andy.
It was interesting there hearing our co-coms talking about the Adjaman goal and actually saying exactly the same thing as you, I think, which is, to have that composure in that moment to get that right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she's incredible. And I think actually in the games that she's come on, she's got better in each game as well. So general players being better as well as, she found herself in front of goal a couple of times. And you think, well, you'd absolutely lash at it because it's the last minute or whatever it is. And she just doesn't. She's just she just makes sure if you're going to hit it with power, she gets it right in the back of the net. So yeah, so impressive.
It'll be interesting to see at what point she comes on. If we are, there's every chance that Spain will be ahead in this game, right? We shouldn't kid ourselves. They are really good. So part of me is hoping for a get it launched 10 minutes to Adjaman.
Listen, I don't want another last 10 minutes like that. Seriously, it's really stressful at the side of the pitch. But yeah, I think one guarantee is that Spain will score. I think it's very, very difficult to keep Spain out, but I think that what this England side have got is got goals everywhere, and the bench has made a difference. And they haven't really played that well at times, and so I think we might be due a sort of 90-minute performance, because I think it's not something we've had, but what we do have is incredible resilience, and they really don't know they're being beaten.
Do we know if Lauren James is fit? I mean, it looked dodgy, didn't it, that she had to come off?
She obviously had an issue, but she did look tired. I mean, remember, she's coming back from an injury as well, and it'll be an interesting one, that, Andy, because whether she starts Lauren James, depending on how fit she is, but then will she put Beth Mead in, or will she put Chloe Kelly in? It'll be really interesting, that choice. But other than that, I can't see a changing the team at all.
I love Lauren James, but I do sometimes think that it's almost too easy for her.
Yeah.
She has that sort of air about her that's, I can't even, but Cole Palmer has a bit of this. I can't even be bothered to be good. I'm so good. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, I literally think, right, if she wanted to take all the players on the opposition and put the ball in the back of the net a mile an hour, she could do it. That's how it is to me. That is how much talent she's got. But I do think that she's adding bits to her game. I think that at Chelsea this season, she works a lot harder when the team have not got it. I think that Serena Wiedmann has her doing that as well, but it always relies on her being sort of super fit. But as soon as she decides to turn it on, she's absolutely incredible.
So if she doesn't start, because you think Wiedmann loves Chloe Kelly off the bench, right, and has done for a long time.
I think that's right,
and I think it is. I think it is right. I don't know how Chloe Kelly feels about that, and this idea now that players are finishers in inverted commas, even if that word to old people like us feels a bit weird. But that means you sort of think Beth Mead is more likely to start, even if she thinks Chloe Kelly can make more of an impact.
Yeah, I think that Beth Mead will probably, I think she's pretty predictable, Serena Wiegman, in terms of trying to keep it as consistent. And consistency's work. Who are we to argue? This is like the millionth tournament in a row that she's reached the final or whatever it is. But yeah, she's incredible. But I do think the key thing is that even the squad players feel valued by her and by everybody else. So that means that when they come on, there's no sulking. You don't see any sulking. They come on and they make a difference. And then whenever they're needed, they will come on and try and make that difference. And I think that is a key part of that sort of resilience that the team's got.
I'm fascinated as well by the performance of Lauren Hemp. I would have said for about 70 minutes she was absolutely dreadful. And then when she looked exhausted, somehow she found new reserves, and she was brilliant in the last 20 minutes and in extra time. It was an incredible performance.
I thought the same as you, and I thought, they all look tired. They all look like got tired legs, and then she sort of was playing a left back, wasn't she, into extra time, just simply because Serena just threw everybody on and then tried to sort of muddle a formation out of them. She was playing left back, but it actually suits her. And I think I said it in commentary, because you're coming from behind the ball and a lot in front of you, you can sort of choose. And she somehow got this energy from somewhere down that left-hand side, but she's key. And again, another one coming back from a long-term injury who's just reaching a peak at the right time.
Now, look, we obviously want England to win. Almost everyone listening will want England to win. But if Spain win, given what
they've got some wonderful players,
of course, but given what they've been through off the pitch as well, it feels like they could win this one and actually enjoy it, and it would be like a great achievement for that squad. And so,
this is a very you thing to say.
Of course, you mean the typical woke lefty idiot.
Woke nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. But
yes, it'll be wonderful for them. Don't be so silly.
Well, I know, but it will, because it's like they've had an ordeal. This squad, haven't they, Lucy?
But,
Yeah, they have an ordeal, but we still don't want them to win. But I think that I think you're absolutely right. I think that when they won the World Cup, it was individuals under supreme stress, and they weren't all there because obviously some of them didn't join up for the reasons we've talked about for the last couple of years. But I think now you can sort of see that collective. But I always think that when you've got the Ballon d'Or winners in one team, I always think, there must be some egos in there somewhere. It's just like, just Bonmatí, like Putellas was injured and then Bonmatí sort of stepped out of her shadows and she's brilliant. And now Putellas is coming back into form. And I just wonder whether, they've got some terrific egos, but they're such a delightful team to watch. I just hope that England can disrupt them on Sunday.
The winning goal was an incredible bit of skill. I've been impressed with Russo in this tournament. She hasn't maybe scored the goal she deserves, but her work rate and her pressing from the front is incredible.
Yeah, I think, do you know what, Andy? For me, she's probably the most consistent player in the tournament for England so far, in terms of when England weren't keeping the ball well in the games that, they didn't play that well in other halves of games. The ball be played into her, and she, surrounded by defenders, keep it, lay it off. And that is what you need to just try and build a platform. She works so hard. She just needs people up there with her to sort of help with that press rush. I think if Beth Mead plays that, they'll probably have a little bit more of that. But it's so important that press is right. And she's so key that when he gets into it, it's got to stick.
Obviously, we talk about the pressure on these players. There'll be millions of people listening to your every word here, Lucy, when this game is happening. Do you feel more pressure for a co-coms of this nature? You got to nail that moment, because that clip of you and Seb is great that ITV put out of the Agyemang goal, and Seb nails it as his voice croaks, Agyemang, and then you're there and you've got to time your words right and get it right. And the art, it's a really interesting sort of like illustration of the art of commentary there. And I suppose in the moment it's kind of instinctive, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just thrown together, Max. You should know that, when you're working on these.
These shows are all thrown together, I've got to tell you.
How dare you besmirch my broadcasting tactics
here,
Lucy.
Today you did bring your own scissors. I was quite impressed with the cutting.
Oh, yeah, I definitely wasn't having a go at Andy there. That was aimed at you, yeah. I mean, I think when you are a co-com, you sort of, that moment where, and you notice Seb does it, so he says a name and then I'm celebrating and screaming, and then he lets that pause is so important, because that pause is so everybody at home can hear. Like honestly, the stadium just exploded, apart from obviously the Italian fans, but it was mostly English in there. And then it's up to me to then come in, and I usually come in. I mean, if we're talking sort of the tactics of it. That I come in as just before and sort of try and guess when the replays come in, and then I'll probably talk for as much as the replays as I've got something to say. So yeah, that's how it works, and that's what you got to do. It's all about timing, and it's all about. But yeah, 10 million watching. You can't think about that. And also, I even forgot about the GoPro camera taking us as well. Otherwise, not sure I would have done what I did. But it was fun to watch.
No, it is. And what was I going to say? It's gone out of my head now.
It's like it's the end of the show. You've had a long day, Andy.
It's been a long day.
Team next, isn't it? Who do you think will win, Lucy?
Well, I think England need to play better than they have done to win, but I think they're capable of that, and I think we're due one. But they have to. But we've seen Spain being disrupted by both Switzerland and Germany. I mean, I know that both of them didn't beat them, but I do think they got very frustrated against Germany. And if Germany could have had a finisher in amongst that, and that's something we've certainly got, then I think that you've got to beat the high line, their high line being a bit direct, and then when you're in front of goal, just be as clinical as you possibly can. Sounds easy.
Does sound easy, doesn't it?
Because I hope it's all brilliant.
Good, aren't they? And
I tell you what is great, though. We were saying that we noticed they did a Vox Pop Sky of fans leaving the game the other night, and the number of young girls and women, and it's a different feeling, you know, from, you have to say, from the people who follow the English men's team, really.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, when I see, like, from me sort of as an older person now, and when I played when I was younger, and I've said this a lot, everybody who thought I was weird still do, but for different reasons. But, you know, playing football, I was just the girl that played football. Now I look around and, like, there's parents, dads taking the girls to, you know, to football and playing football and training. It's absolutely brilliant. And that's what it's all about. It's about the enjoyment, and the atmospheres of all the stadiums has been brilliant.
Excellent. Well, have a great
can confirm,
game.
Lucy, complete weirdo, but good co-coms and a pioneer of the women's game, of course. Good luck on Sunday, Lucy.
Have a great game.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Lucy Ward there, commentary, of course, of the final between England and Spain. 5 o'clock kickoff, build up from 4. Build up from whenever me and Barry start, or whether the show before that, or the show before that, or just listen to talkSPORT constantly for your entire life. Hey, Andy, we finished our programme and I had a nice time.
Good. David Dowling's just texted me a late one. He said, "Where's your Subaru?"
Good question. It's on the street. I won't give the street away, and I won't say where I've put the keys, but it was stolen.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Good anecdote. It was a good anecdote. Got some good content over the stolen Subaru. And because some people nicked it, and the only people, like the police caught the guys that nicked it. They kept it incredibly clean.
Oh, right.
And inside it, they left a couple of USB-C chargers, was good, and loads of wet wipes. And the only people that need wet wipes are robbers and parents of young children. So actually, really, they left it totally in perfect condition. I just thought they'd had the seat a bit further back, but it's in great condition. If someone's saying, "Get on with it, drive is next." Yes, it is. Thank you, Andy. Lovely to see you.
Max.
Thanks for listening. Drive is next.